Factories have their own rhythm. Machines hum, data flows. But if your systems aren't fully integrated, everything slows down. That's where Verizon Business steps in to help. Our agile connectivity solutions enable seamless interoperability, giving you real-time visibility of your systems and data, so you can make better decisions faster. That's the rhythm your facility needs to move your business forward. Learn more at verizon.com/manufacturing.
Today's episode is sponsored by I Know What You Did Last Summer. Get it now on digital. When 5 friends inadvertently cause a deadly car accident, they cover up their involvement and make a pact to keep it a secret, rather than face the consequences. A year later, their past comes back to haunt them, and they're forced to confront a horrifying truth. Someone knows what they did last summer and is hell-bent on revenge. As one by one, the friends are stalked by a killer, they discover this happened before, so they turn to 2 survivors of the legendary Southport Massacre of 1997 for help. Starring Madeline Klein, Chase Sue Wonders, Jonah Hauer King with Freddie Prinze Jr. and Jennifer Love Hewitt. I Know What You Did Last Summer is a perfect summer slasher, says Jordan Cruciolo of NPR. Your summer is not over yet. Don't miss a killer movie night at home. This week's episode is sponsored by Together, now available to rent or buy on digital. Together stars Dave Franco and Alison Brie in an unforgettable epic horror that Bloody Disgusting calls a wild crowd pleaser that will leave you laughing and screaming in equal measure. Watch Together, the breakout horror movie of the year, at home. Buy or rent today.
To control yourself!
And welcome back to Horror Queers. We're talking, what do you think I want, you mean old bastard? I want a fucking room. We're talking, are you such a fucking loser that you can't tell when you won? And we're talking, white sinners. And I'm Joe.
And I'm Trace, and we're talking descriptions for more types of pussy than I ever knew existed.
Oh my god. And the character's name is Chet Pussy.
I never knew that.
What?
Oh my god. Honestly, I think that's one of the most memorable parts of this movie because it just goes on and on and
it's so much, and yet when you know who is behind this movie, it makes perfect sense.
It does. This is a film bro movie if there ever was one. Although,
oh my god, slap the poster up on a dorm room wall.
But this is a movie that I really, really, really do enjoy. And everyone, for our 350th episode, take a shot if you're drinking. We are covering Robert Rodriguez's From Dusk Till Dawn. I almost said Quentin Tarantino's From Dusk Till Dawn.
Well, you would be forgiven for saying that, because in reality, this feels like a test run for, Grindhouse.
Yeah.
But also, it's obviously a Robert Rodriguez film, but so much of the first half of this film feels like a Quentin Tarantino joint, and then it just transfers over to Rodriguez.
Fully 100% agree. Like this, as you say, this is their first stab at Grindhouse. This is a double feature in one movie as opposed to just making a double feature.
Yes, and folks, just in case you missed who is behind this film, content warning for the R word, the F slur, basically pretty much anything offensive you can think of, it's going to be said in this film.
Oh my god, yeah, it is not PC, and I am here for it.
Wow, you are always the person who likes boundary pushing.
I do like boundary pushing, but Joe, you had seen this before though, right?
Oh my god, yes, of course I've seen this before.
Do you like this movie?
I like most of it. I think if we're being honest, I like the Tarantino part of it better than I like the Rodriguez part of it. So I don't mind the vampire stuff, but it feels like the film isn't fully invested in it. Although I will say I like a lot of the makeup and I like a lot of the people who are at the Titty Twister.
I think my production's going to kind of explain some of this for you. Maybe not make you like that back half more, but it's going to explain it. But I agree. The Rodriguez portion isn't really it's not a narratively driven movie, right? We're like in a siege film there. And so all the character work which has been done up to that point, that's all the character work we're going to get for the rest of the film.
And I think attempts at character development or continuing a character arc feel unsatisfying or even facile. Like all the stuff about Seth and Richie when we get to the Titty Twister where Seth has to kill his brother, spoiler alert, I guess, for a movie that's more than 25 years old. I'm just like, oh, I think this is supposed to hit and I don't care.
Yeah, well, I mean, does anyone care about Richie? Richie's kind of the most reprehensible character.
I mean, Richie is shit, which is saying something when the screenwriter casts himself in the role.
Yeah, I mean, but again, this is 2 years after Pulp Fiction when he cast himself as the one guy that says the N-word all the time, like every other word. So I just think this was very much, I mean, talk about pushing boundaries. He wanted to push boundaries himself.
100%. Tarantino knows who he is, love him or hate him, and he's very much embracing that in his Friends movie here.
Yeah, and that's exactly what this is. And I will say, I did screen this for Weird Wednesday last year at the Draft House, and it does play like gangbusters with the crowd. Specifically, that last bit. I mean, there were a lot of gasps during certain slur usages in this movie. But yeah, I mean, once the gore starts going, it doesn't let up, and it was just a wildly fun time. But whether that makes for like a good movie, we can debate. But it does make for a fun movie.
Indeed, which is part of the reason why we ultimately selected it for 350, because we wanted to have a good time.
Absolutely. I've got my wine ready. Joe, I hear you're 4 beers deep.
Oh my God, how dare you, but yes.
I'm asking you. Yes. Okay, well, let's just jump into this. So I will say, though, my Blu-ray is bare bones on this movie. As in, like,
really? Okay.
Not even subtitle as an option.
What?
I know. I was so mad because I'm so used to watching movies we cover with subtitles, and I was like, what do I do?
I know. I have ruined movies for you. The number of times where I turn something on and it either doesn't have subtitles or it's like it's a screener and you think, okay, well, maybe they just haven't done this yet. And I just think, part of my viewing experience is ruined because now I'm going to be straining to try to make sure I hear every little thing.
Absolutely. And so I'm pulling pretty much all of my information from an article called How From Dusk Till Dawn Went From Unsellable to Cult Classic, written for the blog site Ultimate Classic Rock.
Okay, love it.
I know. Yeah, so this blog really did their homework. So this writer, Corey Irwin, thank you for writing this back in 2021.
Excellent. Okay.
So, okay. From Dusk Till Dawn, as we said, written by Quentin Tarantino, directed by Robert Rodriguez. And just to give you a little bit of perspective here, so this film was released on January 19th, 1996.
January.
I know, a January horror film. But remember, horror hasn't come back yet. We're still in that downward slope because Scream would come out in December. Of this year. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So by this point, Robert Rodriguez had only, quote unquote, only directed El Mariachi and Desperado.
Which, of course, don't count because those ain't American movies.
Oh my God. Well, Desperado, though, because El Mariachi was the independent one made for $7,000. But Desperado was like after Miramax had acquired El Mariachi and then they gave it $7 million. So that did get an American release. But
okay, question mark. Have you seen Desperado and do you like it?
So I've never seen El Mariachi Desperado. I have seen Once Upon a Time in Mexico, the third one. And
it's not as good. I would definitely say Desperado is like the one to watch. It's a big, kind of splashy. It's not American, but obviously this is the movie that makes stars of Antonio Banderas and Salma Hayek. And they're fucking sexy in it. They're so hot in that movie.
So I definitely saw Once Upon a Time in Mexico when it came out. I remember it was a big deal because it was rated R. My parents let me watch it. And I was actually really disappointed with it because I wanted the Salma Hayek show and I didn't know, not having seen the first two films, I didn't know that she was dead already. So I was like, what? Why are we doing it? It's just Johnny Depp show, but okay.
It's the Johnny Depp show, which is part of the other reason that it's not a great movie anymore.
Well, but anyway, so that's Rodriguez. And Tarantino, on the other hand, he had released Reservoir Dogs and Pulp Fiction. So he was on his way to making Jackie Brown after this movie came out.
Yeah, so this is arguably the hottest he is in the early part of his career.
Fully, yes, absolutely. And I think, I don't think there's a ton of crossover, but there might be crossover with the Tarantino-Rodriguez primer we did in our Planet Terror episode. So if you haven't listened to that one, I would recommend going to listen to it because we go into a deep dive on like their relationship in that one.
Yeah, because we've covered both halves of Grindhouse, so...
Yeah. Now, funnily enough, Joe, though, the original idea for From Dusk Till Dawn did not come from Quentin Tarantino. It came from Robert Kurtzman, the co-founder of famous Hollywood makeup and special effects company K&B Effects.
Okay, that's not where I thought you were going to go with this.
I know. So obviously he's the K, Greg Nicotero is the N, and Howard Berger is the B. But
obviously, yeah.
They founded the company after working on George Romero's Day of the Dead and Sam Raimi's Evil Dead 2. And so after doing those films, Robert Kurtzman was trying to create a vehicle to showcase his company's skills. Like, he was like, I just want to make a movie that is a purely, like, special effects extravaganza.
Right, yes, that makes sense.
So, after writing an outline of the general story in 1988, Kurtzman searched for a screenwriter to fully develop the concept. Now,
88? That's a ways back from this movie.
It sure is. So, it was Kurtzman's longtime friend and producer, David Goodman, who told him about this young writer working at a Los Angeles video store, and this writer was Quentin Tarantino. Now, by this point, it was 1990. So he had already been 2 years, maybe they got busy, or maybe he wasn't having any luck, whatever, but 2 years later, and at this point, of course, Tarantino did not have a film career. He had a couple of writing samples, including early drafts of screenplays for both Natural Born Killers and True Romance.
Right, yes.
Now, Kurtzman met with him and liked him and said, I will pay you $1,500 to write a screenplay based on this treatment. And...
I'm sorry, that money is shit.
Well, apparently not, because this would mark Tarantino's first paid screenwriting gig of his career, and also allow him to quit the video store.
Okay. Here's the thing. Let me stand corrected, because I guess the early 90s were a very different time.
I mean, I'm just like, even $1,500 in the 90s, sure, but it's also LA. So it's like...
It just does not feel like a lot of money.
I know. But here's the thing. The other part of this deal, that Kurtzman would do the ear slicing effect for Reservoir Dogs whenever it got made.
Oh, which maybe is equal to how much he's paying for this script.
Exactly. So maybe that was a thing where it's like, I can't pay you any more than that, even though for a screenplay you would deserve more than that. So it was like, hey, that's fine. I will take your $1,500 if you do this on my movie whenever it gets made, if it ever gets made.
Right. The tit for tat. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, that would happen relatively quickly as Reservoir Dogs went into production in July of 1991. So... Okay. I don't know exactly, I mean, we're not doing a Reservoir Dogs episode, so I don't know the exact timeline here, but nevertheless, Reservoir Dogs premieres at Sundance in January of 1992 and was theatrically released in October of 92, obviously becoming a hugely successful independent film.
And the ear slicing part is a huge component of that film.
Yes, it's kind of the one thing you hear people talk about if they've seen it.
Right.
Now, this allowed Tarantino to sell his scripts for True Romance and Natural Born Killers, and then, of course, From Dusk Till Dawn fell on the back burner while he jumped right into Pulp Fiction.
Sure, yes.
Yeah. Now, while all this was going on, Kurtzman was shopping around the script Tarantino wrote, but it was rejected everywhere.
Oh, okay.
So most studios were saying it's too vulgar and violent.
I mean... True. Yes.
Yeah, and that's the thing is watching this, it was kind of this really is kind of like a mainstream released B movie. Yes. Or exploitation film, actually, I guess.
It's verging on it, for sure.
Yeah. Other studios said no, because at this point, also, Kurtzman wanted to direct the film, and he didn't have a single film under his name, so they were like, no, the investors aren't going to pay that money. We need an experienced director on hand. And so...
Right. It's a hard sell.
Yeah. Kurtzman would, of course, go on to direct 1997's Wishmaster, and that is also his special effects extravaganza.
Yes. And, of course, folks, we have an audio commentary on that on the Patreon.
Do. Very fun movie, by the way.
It is. It's a good time.
And even though Tarantino's fingerprints were all over this, after Reservoir Dogs, but before Pulp Fiction had come out, it was essentially unsellable.
Okay, so we had to wait for him to get even more famous, is what I'm hearing.
Basically, I'm sure it was studios like, well, what if Reservoir Dogs is a fluke or something like that?
Sure.
But then Pulp Fiction came out, and all of a sudden... everyone wanted to make a Tarantino script. It didn't matter what the fuck it was. If his name was on it, they wanted to make it.
It's kind of hilarious because, yeah, as you said, this movie comes out in January of 96. And of course, Scream, same year, 96. And the same kind of thing will happen to Kevin Williamson, right?
Yep.
Whatever they had ready. It's what is on the corner of your desk on a Post-it note? We're going to make a fucking movie out of that because you are so goddamn hot right now.
Exactly. So suddenly... any of those qualms that studios had didn't matter. You just had to slap Tarantino's name on it, and they were like, cool, good to go. Let's pay for it.
Yes.
Now, Unfortunately for Kurtzman, studios did not want him to direct it still. And the problem was, though, Tarantino didn't want to direct it either, but he did want to act in it. And he, in his words, he wanted to focus on the acting side. And it's... I don't know about you, because I'm of the mind where I'm like, I really just want to see Quentin Tarantino do a horror movie, and I don't think he's ever going to do one. So this is the closest
not a
we'll
conventional
get to it.
one. Oh yeah, this is it. This is what we get.
And that's the thing, but he didn't direct it. And no shade to Rodriguez here. Rodriguez, you can tell it's a Rodriguez joint. Yeah. But I just want to see what Tarantino would do with a horror film. And, it seems like he just kind of left it in the dirt after this and Death Proof.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he will dabble, he'll have sequences, but I don't think he will ever do a full-on horror film.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's probably the case. But luckily, by this point, Tarantino had recently become good friends with Robert Rodriguez when they were screening El Mariachi and Reservoir Dogs together at TIFF in 1992. And I think this is something we discussed in that Planet Terror episode.
Right, yes.
But he suggested, hey, why doesn't Rodriguez, my good friend Robert Rodriguez, direct this film?
I mean, if you think about it, this is a really good fit. Like, this is such a good film for Robert Rodriguez because it's got the button-pushy content, it's got the snappy dialogue that he can do, some clever, shots and editing around, and then it's got a huge action finale.
Exactly. And so they didn't want to waste the Pulp Fiction success push, so they decided we have to make this, right away. So...
Yep.
Apparently, what Tarantino did was just walk into Miramax, who distributed both Reservoir Dogs and Pulp Fiction, and again, I'm pretty sure El Mariachi and Desperado, but he just told Bob and Harvey Weinstein, okay, hey, From Dusk Till Dawn is going to be my next film. I'm going to act in it. Rodriguez is going to direct it. And they said, okay, and they gave the film a budget of $19 million.
There we go. Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. I always thought that the budget for this film was way higher. So part of me thinks, considering the talent, it was probably a risk worth taking for the Weinsteins because the likelihood of it being a big hit is pretty high. And if not 19 million, sure, it's nothing to scoff at, but it's also like you're not going to lose the shirt off your back.
That's interesting because I actually thought 19 million was really high for this.
Really?
I'm just,
okay.
not in the final product. I'm like, oh yeah, clearly I can see where the $19 million went. Totally. I just think for a horror movie coming out in January in 1996, before horror was hot again.
Right.
If this did not have Tarantino's name on it, this never would have gotten made.
No, as you just said, we couldn't get a green light until he had those back-to-back hits.
So, the star power of both filmmakers on the same project was enough to push things into motion. Harvey Keitel was brought in because he was a holdover from Reservoir Dogs.
Right, yep.
He's also one of the big reasons that Reservoir Dogs got made. Like, he found that script and he pushed it to his people, which helped get it to Miramax. And so, I think he and Tarantino just had a really close relationship.
Good for him.
Juliette Lewis, again, a holdover from Natural Born Killers.
Yes.
Tarantino joined. Oliver Stone joined Tarantino script.
Mm-hmm.
Also helping things was nabbing George Clooney. And
oh boy.
For anyone who wasn't growing up at this time, again, I was 7 when this was happening, but I still was aware of George Clooney because my parents watched ER. But George Clooney did not have a film career at this point.
No, this is his attempt to break into films.
Mm-hmm. He was known as Dr. Doug Ross on ER, and he was there for 5 seasons. We talked about that in our Batman and Robin episode, but it is really funny because I saw some news broadcasts of from 1996 that were very focused on George Clooney. It's like, Dr. Doug Ross isn't playing it safe anymore. He's going to be in the Tarantino written new vampire movie. Blah, 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 blah.
Yep.
But fun fact, this was also a non-union production.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh,
so
that's not good.
This caused a lot of controversy with IATSE, or IATSE, which is the International Alliance of Theatrical Stage Employees, which also covers film stuff. But
okay.
I won't go too much more into that, but I will say there was a 1998 documentary called Full Tilt Boogie, which is available, probably bootlegged, on YouTube. Right. And it chronicles the making of this film and their issues with IATSE. But I will say it's an hour and 40 minutes long, and the union stuff starts about 40 minutes into this hour and 40 minute long documentary. So it's interesting, but it's very much a kind of a video diary of the making of this film. So if you really like this film and you kind of want to be a fly on the wall during the production, that's a really good documentary to watch.
I love how you keep finding these a day in the life of the filmmaker.
I know. Well, the problem is, like, they're really interesting, but they don't really honestly provide a lot for these production histories for me.
Yeah, I mean, it's more, do you want to live the experience of being on this film set kind of day by day? But for our purposes, where we're looking for an overview with some juicy details, but also broad generalizations, it's not going to fit the bill.
Exactly. So filming took place in the summer of 1995, with the majority of filming taking place in California. I think there were some exterior shot in Tijuana, but basically, like, this is California masquerading as Mexico.
Sure, yeah.
As I said, From Dusk Till Dawn is released on January 16th of 96, the only new release that weekend, and it opens in the number one spot with $10 million, and it goes on to gross $26 million domestically, and so Box Office Mojo did not have international box office numbers for me, but other sites that I don't think are as reputable as Box Office Mojo were reporting an international tally of $33 million. So,
okay.
If that is true, we are looking at a worldwide gross of $59 million against that $19 million budget. But
right, which makes it look like a good investment if you add in international.
Well, that's the thing. Like $26 million, I was like, this wasn't that successful domestically. No. But Joe, guess where it did do really well?
Mexico.
No, the home video market.
Oh, okay. We were just talking about international numbers.
I know. No, but no, home video is where this thing like blew up.
I mean, yes, that makes sense.
Not surprising, right?
No, not at all. Because this is the kind of movie that you can rent with a bunch of buddies, get a couple of beers, have a jumbo bag of popcorn, and just be like, let us live out our fantasies of murdering an entire bar full of people.
I will say, though, like, the trailer for this movie does give away the vampires of it all. So, like,
100%.
A big sticking point for investors was, like, the structure was just too bizarre. Like, you bring the vampires in an hour into this hour and 45-minute movie.
Yes.
And that's just a problem. And I guess I was just surprised that the marketing revealed that because, you know, there were people in my screening that had never seen the film before. So I debated when I'm in my introduction, like, do I want to say that
do I
it's
reveal
vampires?
this? Yeah.
And I didn't. And I think that turned out for the better, obviously, because people were like, oh, wow, did not see this coming. But I imagine back then people had to have known when they were, or maybe they didn't. Maybe they just said, hey, it's a movie with George Clooney from ER. I'm going to go see it.
Yeah, like I remember definitely seeing the trailers and getting spoiled on that. And I didn't see the film until well after it had been on video for, I think, a couple of years. And I was surprised at how backloaded the vampires are. But I mean, we've had these conversations, right? How much do you spoil in a movie where in some ways, it's not reliant on keeping it a secret, but also it feels like the first half of a film isn't necessarily telegraphing it. Like, think about our conversations about Abigail or Sinners, right? Where really both of those films kind of bury that lead. One movie makes it very, very explicit, and I would argue it's Abigail that kind of suffers from its marketing, whereas Sinners leans into it, but because it has such richly developed characters, you kind of don't fucking care. But also they gave us the vampire stuff just as a tease off the top.
Well, and I would at least argue that in both Abigail and Sinners, the transition isn't as jarring as it is in From Dusk Till Dawn. Yeah,
From Dusk Till Dawn plays like a conventional crime film all the way up until Salma Hayek bites Quentin Tarantino.
Exactly. And so that's, I feel like, a full-on genre shift in the movie we are watching today. I don't feel the same way about Sinners and Abigail.
Yeah, I think I would agree with that. And I remember the first time I watched it, I did feel like it was a very jarring disconnect. It felt like two separate films that had just been merged together, like one scene. Suddenly they collided and then we were into a different genre.
Yeah. So I think it's really interesting. Man, I don't know how you would market this, but I do think it's really dumb that they revealed the vampire. So whatever.
I'll just say I'm not surprised that it wasn't a huge box office success.
Yeah. I actually think if they had marketed it as just a crime thriller from Quentin Tarantino, that probably would have done a lot better.
Maybe. Yeah. Yeah.
But then word of mouth might have been worse, because then you have people that don't want a gore film coming
it's
into
true,
a gore
right?
film.
I thought I was just going to get the other ear cut off, and I got full-on vampires.
Yeah. Now, critics were mixed on the film, but we're looking at a healthy 65% on Rotten Tomatoes, whereas Letterboxd users have given this a 3.5 out of 5 or a 7 out of 10. So it's got the cult following.
There we go. Yeah.
Fun fact, though, Ireland banned this movie for being,
What?
and I quote, irresponsible and totally gratuitous.
I'm going to need a follow-up on why exactly they made that determination.
I have no idea. Because, I mean, this movie is wildly gory, but it's also, like, cartoonishly gory at times.
Yeah.
So the Ireland embargo on this would not be lifted until 2004. So for 8 years, you could not see this movie in Ireland.
Wow. Ireland, who hurt you?
Still, From Dusk Till Dawn has endured as sort of a modern cult classic. And because the Weinsteins never turned down a potential franchise, we have the 1999 direct-to-video sequel, From Dusk Till Dawn 2 Texas Blood Money, and the 1913 set prequel, From Dusk Till Dawn 3 The Hangman's Daughter, which was released in 2000 and co-stars Rebecca Gayheart.
Yes, I did know that because I've definitely seen that box art. I have not seen either of the sequels. Have you?
No, I have not. And mostly just because those Weinstein The Dimension direct-to-video sequels, back then I was kind of like, those don't count. Those aren't movies.
Right, yeah. Okay, what about the TV show? Well, I feel like you've watched part of that.
I've watched to this day, I still regret not finishing that final season. But yeah, so there was a TV series in 2016 that lasted for 3 seasons on Rodriguez's now defunct El Rey network.
Right.
Really interesting show because the first season is basically this movie stretched to, I want to say 10 episodes.
Okay. I feel like you would actually benefit from that treatment because you could go deeper into the characters.
It was fine. I mean,
it was fine.
I think the first season is okay. And I think that was reflected in the reviews as well. But it was a thing where, I mean, again, like the first 5 or 6 episodes is the crime thriller of it all. And you get the vampires for the last 4 episodes.
Maybe not then.
But then the second season, because it is a pretty one-to-one adaptation with minor changes.
Okay.
But the second season picks up where you want this one to go, where it's like, okay, it's Kate with the George Clooney character, and they are off having antics. The Scott, the brother character, does not die in the show, but he does get turned. So you did, and also the Salma Hayek character, Santanico Pandemonium, played by Eiza Gonzalez, is a protagonist in the show. So she's not just a one-off, like gets killed immediately by Richie. The Richie character also survives. He's not as insufferable as Quentin Tarantino. So they really expand on this movie in ways that I find very satisfying in season 2. And I did start season 3, but I pulled a U because I got the
You just dropped off.
Well, I got the screeners for review and I watched like 4 episodes, but that was all I had. And then when it aired, I was like, okay, I'll finish it eventually.
And then you just never did.
And I never did. But then it was weird where the show was never officially canceled. It was just never renewed and the contracts expired.
Yeah, it just kind of puttered out. I heard that it was also queer.
I believe so. It's any explicit references to queerness are not hitting me off the top of my head, but I will say I really liked it. Like once you get past that first season, which is essentially just a TV show remake of this movie,
right?
It does some really interesting things, and it has a lot of fun. I mean, there is some great like Gary Busey plays Sex Machine on the show.
Oh my god! Of course he does. So he and his teeth is what you're saying.
Basically, yeah. But I really like what they do with the Kate character. She gets kind of like an Illyria Fred from Angel plotline in that third season.
Oh, fuck yeah.
It's really, really good. So if y'all are curious, like I would recommend the From Dusk Till Dawn TV show. Like it's not amazing, but it's if you liked this and you wanted to see a straight sequel to this movie,
right?
That show gives it to you.
Okay. No, it sounds like a good time. It sounds like what you do is you watch the recap of season 1, like the previously on trailer on YouTube for season 1, and then you dive into season 2.
Exactly that. And again, I really think that making Santanico like a main character and giving Kate more agency is really helpful for that show.
Yeah, I feel like we might have some thoughts about this here movie with regard to those two characters.
Yeah. So, Joe, what happens in From Dusk Till Dawn?
Oh, nice try, baby. It is 3:50. I've got games for you to play.
Yay!
I want to play a game. The rules are simple. All you have to do is sit here and talk to me.
Okay, so you said that the North American release of this on physical media was bare bones, but I can tell you, Trace, that the Polish release had a number of trailers.
Oh, God.
There was one that was distinctively Polish, so I will not ask you about that one. There were several that were more Western themes, so like Banditas, the movie with Salma Hayek and Penelope Cruz, where they're like lady outlaws. That was on there.
What? So, I've never heard of this, but I want to see that movie now.
I heard it was fine. Yeah. But, okay, so I'm going to ask you to name the film. This is a horror movie.
Okay.
So I have 3 levels of clues to help guide you. So if you don't get it on the first one, there are 2 more clues to help you out. Okay. So your first clue is IGN Movies called this 2007 film The Grudge on a Farm.
Is it The Messengers?
Oh my God, you got it on the first go.
Oh, yay! I was like, 2007 farm movies. Oh, that's a boring movie too. Ugh.
Yeah. Okay. So, folks, if you have never heard of this film, I'll give you the 2 other clues. So, the second clue was it began as an original script called The Scarecrow by Todd Farmer, who we have talked about before, screenwriter of Jason X. And it was partially rewritten by Patrick Lussier, who is, of course, you know, Wes Craven's editor on most of the Scream films. He would go on to do things like My Bloody Valentine 3D, Drive Angry. Mm-hmm. And neither one of them are actually credited on the final screenplay because it ended up kind of getting turfed. Apparently, if you watch the sequel, they basically reincorporate all of Farmer's ideas because it's a prequel movie.
Yeah.
Your final clue is it's the English language debut of Hong Kong duo The Pang Brothers, and it stars Kristen Stewart, John Corbett, and Dylan McDermott.
Yeah, I knew all of that except for the fact that the Pang Brothers directed it, because those are the directors of the original The Eye, but
yes, not the remake though.
Correct, yeah, the original The Eye, the better one.
Yes, the good one.
The Messengers is real boring. I mean, that is like your cookie cutter PG-13 horror film. It is just, it's not even like outright bad. It's just so forgettable.
Mm-hmm. Well, apparently it wasn't supposed to have any of the supernatural stuff in it. It was just going to be like a kind of crime centric, like there's a twisted backstory with the family. And then Patrick Lussier was like, no, let's make it supernatural. And then they got rid of him, but they kept all that. And it just sounds like it was an uneven marriage.
Well, now I want to see this prequel sequel thing because that stars Norman Reedus. But I remember that was also a direct-to-video sequel.
It is indeed, yes, because these are the days, baby.
Yeah.
Okay, Trace, I have one more game for you, but we're going to play it in 2 rounds. So it's a favorite, Rank 'em and Rate 'em, Vampire Films of the 90s edition. So you should be okay with this because we have covered many of these titles. So there's 5 different titles, and I would like you to first rank them in terms of box office gross.
Oh, yes. Okay. Oh my God. So there is a Trivial Pursuit game on my Switch that like every now and then they'll have like a, hey, here's a bunch of movies, rank them by box office gross. And this is really fun. Okay, let me try.
Okay. So your titles include former episode, Interview with the Vampire. Also former episode, Bram Stoker's Dracula. Also former episode, Blade. The current episode we're talking about, From Dusk Till Dawn. Oh, sorry, there's 6. John Carpenter's Vampires. And finally, Vampire in Brooklyn.
Okay. So I'm going from highest to lowest?
Sure.
I'm gonna say, oh fuck. Okay. The top 3 I'm not gonna know. I mean, it could be any order. Okay. I'm gonna say the top one is Interview?
Correct, yes. $105.3 million domestically.
Okay. Is the second one... It's one of 2. Is it Bram Stoker's Dracula?
It is Bram Stoker's Dracula, 82.5.
Okay, then it is Blade.
It is Blade with 70.
Then...
Yeah, this is where it gets hard.
I'm gonna guess John Carpenter's Vampires next.
Nope, it's From Dusk Till Dawn.
Okay, then it's John Carpenter's Vampires.
Yes, with 20.3 to this movie's like approximately 26.
Then it's Vampire in Brooklyn, because that movie is a hot piece of garbage.
Yes, but ironically enough, not that much lower than John Carpenter's Vampires, which is also not a good movie, but like Vampire in Brooklyn is 19.6, so it's only off by like a couple $100,000 from John Carpenter.
And that's kind of wild too, because you're getting Wes Craven's Vampire in Brooklyn and John Carpenter's Vampires, and Vampires is a better movie than Vampire in Brooklyn. Vampire in Brooklyn is doing that thing where it's trying to be a horror comedy, but it's neither scary nor funny.
Yeah.
Also, I just hope you know that you literally gave me the movies in the order.
Oh, did I?
You absolutely did.
Okay, well, let's see if we can make this more complicated. So for the second part of this game, I would like you to rate them. So tell me the highest to lowest Rotten Tomatoes scores.
Oh,
Same
okay.
films.
I'm going to say top of the line is... Oh, fuck. Is it Bram Stoker?
It is, with 69%.
Then it's Interview.
It is not.
Oh, it's Blade?
It is not.
It's from Dusk?
It is from Dusk Till Dawn with 65%.
Okay, then it's Interview?
It is Interview with 63.
Then it's Blade.
It is Blade with 59.
Then it's John Carpenter's Vampires.
Yes, 44%.
Yeah, and then it's Vampire in Brooklyn.
14%.
Yeah. I mean, maybe we should do a like worst movies theme month where we just do like some auteur directors like worst movies, and Vampire in Brooklyn would be one of them.
I don't know. Is that just a month of punching down though?
Well, because here's the thing: what if we watch them and we enjoy them?
That is always a possibility. Yeah, I mean, maybe part of the onus of this is like a say something nice kind of deal where you have to watch a bad movie but still find something good to compliment about.
Well, I also think, and maybe this is specific to Vampire in Brooklyn, but I do think that movie had some production issues, and so
sure,
it might be a thing to where we can be like, well, why did this turn out so bad? Because we know Wes Craven is capable of better, so what was the issue here?
Yeah, I will confess I've always been curious about John Carpenter's Vampires as well, but it does have James Wood.
Well, so does Video Joe, but we covered that, so whatever.
That is true. Yes, yes, indeed.
And I remember liking Vampires. I don't even think Vampires is that bad of a movie. It's just it's not one of Carpenter's best.
I mean, that's kind of the film he's making in this era, right? Like, he's doing Ghosts of Mars a couple of years later, and like, that movie is not good, but I kind of enjoy it.
Actually? Oh, yeah. See, that would be the Carpenter one. Because you could do something like, oh my God, what's the one with Amber Heard where The Ward, where it's like, that's just kind of a boring movie. Like it's
not even fun to talk about.
Yeah, but I think Ghosts of Mars is fun to talk about.
It's such a hot mess. Yeah, I listened to the movie Oubliette episode on it, and some of the production details of that was wild.
Okay, let's keep that in mind for future.
Okay, programming for the future. Got it.
I like that. I think that's fun.
Factories have their own rhythm. Machines hum, data flows. But if your systems aren't fully integrated, everything slows down. That's where Verizon Business steps in to help. Our agile connectivity solutions enable seamless interoperability, giving you real-time visibility of your systems and data, so you can make better decisions faster. That's the rhythm your facility needs to move your business forward. Learn more at verizon.com/manufacturing.
From producer Jordan Peele, the movie Him asks the question, would you sell your soul for greatness?
What are you willing to sacrifice? Activate my hip.
On September 19th.
Do you want what I have? You got to take it from me.
What if I say no?
I ain't a killer, but don't push me.
Experience fear like never before.
It's time for me to show you exactly who I am.
Him, directed by Justin Tipping. Only in theaters September 19th. Rated R.
Today's episode is sponsored by I Know What You Did Last Summer. Get it now on digital. When 5 friends inadvertently cause a deadly car accident, they cover up their involvement and make a pact to keep it a secret rather than face the consequences. A year later, their past comes back to haunt them, and they're forced to confront a horrifying truth. Someone knows what they did last summer and is hell-bent on revenge. As one by one, the friends are stalked by a killer, they discover this happened before. So they turn to 2 survivors of the legendary Southport Massacre of 1997 for help. Starring Madeline Klein, Chase Sue Wonders, Jonah Hauer King with Freddie Prinze Jr. and Jennifer Love Hewitt. I Know What You Did Last Summer is a perfect summer slasher, says Jordan Cruciolo of NPR. Your summer is not over yet. Don't miss a killer movie night at home.
Okay, well, let's walk through this movie, but I will say, Trace, I'm going to have an ongoing game for you. So whenever I introduce an actor, I'm going to prompt you to tell me when we have talked about that actor before over the 350 main feed, as well as the, I think it's like 400 Patreon episodes we have done.
I used to be able to remember every single episode we've done, and now I'll look at our list and I'll be like, we covered that movie?
Yeah. It's been a while. But that's why it's fun to play a game around it. So,
I mean, that's what happens when you're podcasting for 6 or 7 years.
Yeah, exactly. So we open this movie with Texas Ranger Earl McGraw, who is played by Michael Parks, and he pulls into Benny's world of liquor on a dusty track of desert highway. Trace, how many times have we talked about Michael Parks?
I'm going to say 3.
You are correct. You could have gone for the bonus lightning round, which would give you 4. So on our podcast, we have talked about Planet Terror, Death Proof, and Tusk, but we have also talked about Red State when we did a guest appearance on Nightmare Junkhead.
Oh, that's right. And Michael Parks playing the same character he played in Grindhouse.
Indeed he is, yeah, which I was like, my brain is broken trying to chart some kind of trajectory because he dies in this movie. But then I was like, wait, so does that mean that the events of Grindhouse happened before this? And what does that mean for this universe?
I just really like Tarantino Rodriguez's commitment to Michael Parks. Rest in peace, by the way, because what a wonderful actor. If y'all have
he's so good.
If y'all have never seen Tusk or Red State, I can't promise you'll like either one of those movies, but I will say that Parks' performance elevates both of those movies.
100%. Folks, I feel like if you listen to us and guest on that Tusk episode, D.D. Crimmins, if you heard us talk about that movie and you didn't check it out, I feel like we've maybe failed you as a podcast.
And I will say, that is one of those ones that I thought for sure Joe was going to hate Tusk. And when he came back with, I was shocked and so happy.
There we go. It's called growth. Okay, so yes, Texas Ranger Earl McGraw stops off to buy some booze, but before he turns off the radio in his car, we do hear that there is an advisory about 2 white male criminals who are armed and dangerous.
I thought you say armed and fabulous. Like Legally Blonde. Wait, no, Miss Congeniality 2, Armed and Fabulous.
There we go, yes, starring the Gecko brothers. I'm not going to say either one of these is, well, they're definitely armed. Neither of them are fabulous. So the Ranger buys a bottle of Jack from Pete. This would be character actor John Hawkes. And they just...
Whoa. Like, honestly, I don't think I knew until this viewing that this was John Hawkes.
Yeah. Okay, so Trace, play the game. How many times and where have we talked about John Hawkes? This is a tough one.
I know. I'm like, I know him from so many things. Like, I feel like Martha Marcy May Marlene is... Oh, actually, that's one we should really cover.
It's a great one.
Yeah, that's a really good movie. I am not going to lie, Joe.
You can pass.
Wait, hold on. Okay, wait. We're counting Patreon. I know one. One of them is I Still Know What You Did Last Summer, because he plays Freddie Prinze Jr.'s friend.
Correct. That is the one.
Oh, it's the one? Oh,
it's just
God.
The one.
Woo!
Yeah. I went through his entire filmography. Like, some of these people, like, when we get to Danny Trejo, I went through the filmography trays, 425 listed credits on IMDb. And I was like, surely we've talked about these people several times. And some of these, it's like, nope, just the one time. That's it.
Do you know what John Hawkes has been in that we haven't covered that we should cover?
What?
Identity.
Oh my God. That film is a fucking trip. But yes, I would like to talk about it, if only because I feel like it's just going to not hold up at all on a rewatch. That would be another kind of theme month that we could do. It's like twisty puzzle box movies and whether or not they hold up.
Oh yeah, Twist month. There you go.
Twist month. There we go. All these planning. We're just doing a lot.
I know.
On the air,
Someone write this down, please.
It's okay. I'm editing. I'll make notes.
It's fine.
Okay, yes. So John Hawkes is playing Pete. He is the proprietor of this store, and the two of them talk the shit because it's a Quentin Tarantino movie. So, you know, Carl got food poisoning.
What are they talking about, Joe? They're throwing the R slur around a lot about
they
some
sure are.
Mentally disabled person who is, I guess, serving food at some
it's like a
place.
fry cook place. Yeah. And because of this individual, this ranger got food poisoning, and maybe we shouldn't allow this person to cook. And you're just like, okay, we could not.
This is when I noticed that I didn't have subtitles on too, because Parks is slurring a lot or like mumbling a lot of his lines of dialogue to where I was like, what? He uses also that M-word slur too for developmentally disabled people. I was like, whoa, we're really going there. But 95, 96, so.
It's a snapshot of the times when we just truly did not care about language.
Yeah. But nevertheless, this is kind of your classic Tarantino, right?
Exactly. Yeah, we're setting the stage, we're shooting the shit, it's male characters, the movie. So Carl hits the commode. I do love that word for toilet. Mm-hmm. And then the two robbers, of course, have been here the entire time. They've been listening in on this conversation. They have two teen girl hostages. So let's talk about these guys. We have Seth, who is George Clooney. He's the talker. He's the more calm. He's going to make a plan, but he's also still capable of obscene amounts of violence. And then we have Richie, Quentin Tarantino, who is paranoid and suspicious and just a little bit bajiggity.
I mean, I think he's, I'm not a doctor, but schizophrenic is the term, the diagnosis I would give him.
Yeah, he just can turn on you in the blink of an eye on a dime. Well, you never know what you're going to get with this guy.
He hallucinates. He hears things that are not happening. And I think that's always kind of my issue with this movie every time I watch it is like, okay, I get that Seth loves Richie because they are brothers.
Right.
He seems so surprised by everything Richie does in this movie.
Yes, and it feels like Seth is so, like, apart from his anger issues, which we will talk about later on in the film because characters will actually bring it up, Seth seems too smart and controlled to be hanging on to a loose cannon like Richie, which I think is why the brotherly component is important. If they were just, escaped bank robbers or something, I don't think the narrative would hang together, but it's still just, like, all of the stuff with Seth tolerating Richie never entirely rings true to me.
Yeah, I think we needed a scene of them just being brotherly together.
Yeah, and Richie not fucking everything up for Seth at every interaction.
I mean, truthfully, it's the murder of the hostage where I'm just like, Seth, like, why
you gotta let this guy go.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense, but whatever.
Yeah, but we should note that Robert Rodriguez is already directing the fuck out of this movie, so, like, we're pushing in on Seth saying, be cool, and other fun stuff like that, so he's definitely enjoying the experience of how do we stage this, how do we keep it kinetic, how do we get the energy up, because this is really opening our movie.
Well, and truthfully, I'm going to say, I don't think the energy ever lulls in this movie, which may be a problem if you want, like, levels.
I think there's a couple of quieter moments, so I wouldn't entirely agree.
There are quieter moments, but I don't think whether it's action or tension, one of them is always happening at every single point in this film.
Okay, yes, that is fair. That is fair. Okay, I'm not going to play our game with George Clooney or Quentin Tarantino because they're just gimmies. Like, you've already mentioned Batman and Robin, and obviously Quentin Tarantino is when we talked about the other Grindhouse films.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay, so Michael Parks' character comes back out, and the Ranger is just unexpectedly executed point blank by Richie because he is convinced that Pete has said something to him.
Yeah, and this, I actually do think we get a good comedic beat out of this. This movie is, we haven't said this, quite funny at times.
Yes.
But we have this thing where he's like, oh, he mouthed, help us. He mouthed, help us. And after a certain point, John Hawkes is just like, I never said help us!
It's very funny. It's very, very memorable considering that, Hawkes is on screen for what, maybe 3 minutes in this entire movie?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I really like this. So Pete ultimately also gets shot, but he's not dead. He's got enough time to scramble around behind the counter, open up the safe, get his own gun. So, of course, it's now a full-blown Western film. We're exchanging fire. We're shooting. Richie gets shot in the hand, and then the brothers decide, well, the easiest way to take care of Pete is to shoot out the wall of liquor behind him, and Seth will just throw a modified Molotov cocktail into the mix, and this whole liquor store just goes up in a giant ball of flame.
Let me say, like, a Molotov cocktail. He lights a roll of toilet paper on fire and throws it into the alcohol. But a touch, again, a comedic touch that I really love. Mm-hmm. Once John Hawkes goes up and we have a man on fire, he's dying, he falls into a bin of popcorn. And the popcorn proceeds to pop as his body just burns.
Yeah. And of course, like when we initially light him on fire, we think, okay, well, that problem has been dealt with. And then he pops back up so that he can continue shooting. And then, of course, we get the push in on the two Gecko brothers going, bang, 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 bang.
Yeah, yeah. But then we get this great, like, single take as they're walking out and the explosion happens. I thought about this too. I was like, man, if they fucked up their lines after that explosion or during the explosion, you would ruin this entire shot.
Yeah, and here's the thing. You haven't seen Desperado. This is basically just a sequence from that film. Like, we do slow motion walking away from a building going up in flames, and it's super cool.
There you go. And then, bam, opening credits, Joe.
Opening credits, and this is pretty conventional. We're just watching them go as we are driving along, except I do like this touch of opening up a little iris in the trunk so that we can see the hostage, Gloria Hill, who is played by Brenda Hillhouse. Spoiler alert, we have not talked about her before on the podcast.
Okay, I was going to say, I don't think we're...
Okay, so Seth rents a room at the Dewdrop Motel from a mean old bastard played by Mark Lawrence, and he is just dominating the discussion about bartering with Richie. We're clarifying for Gloria the rules to survive this ordeal, so we very much get the impression from these early discussions that Seth is the one who is in control. He's going to make a plan. People are going to listen to him.
Do you find Seth a likable character or a likable enough character to carry you through this movie?
If anything, he becomes more likable and easier to deal with because of Richie. So you say, oh, well, that one brother, I just can't get a read on. He seems like he could fly off the handle at any moment. So Seth becomes palatable. Now, I will say, I don't think that George Clooney does a good enough job of distinguishing himself from George Clooney and his character on ER. Like, there are moments in this movie where it feels like he is struggling and he's doing his absolute darndest to break out of his persona so that he can become a movie star.
So this might be controversial.
You can push back.
No. So I do think George Clooney is a good actor. I have not seen every single George Clooney performance or movie or whatever.
Okay.
But I don't think that George Clooney leaves his comfort zone very often whenever he is taking on films. And I saw something recently because, he's on Broadway right now doing Good Night and Good Luck.
Yes.
I think he addressed some comments or someone said, oh, George Clooney just acts like George Clooney in every single movie he does. And he was kind of like, fuck you.
He got pissed at that, didn't he?
And I totally get it. I don't think he acts like George Clooney. I just don't think he takes roles that are that different from each other. And again, I have not seen every George Clooney performance. Feel free to push back on that, listeners, or you, Joe. But so for me, it's more so, okay, cool. What kinds of movies is he choosing to be in? And this is just such a different movie from anything else he would ever do.
It is a bigger swing, which is kind of ironic because this is the movie that, I can't recall. Is this his first big movie role?
Big, yes. But I mean, he had done, he was in one of the Attack of the Killer Tomatoes movies.
Okay.
He had done a couple other, smaller things. I mean, in 83, he was in that Grizzly 2 movie, 1987's Return to Horror High. But yeah, in terms of, after he was, on TV, this is it.
Okay, yeah, because this feels like him. It's like what Disney princess girls kind of do when they're trying to say, no, I'm mature, no, I'm sexual. They take a movie that's completely out of the wheelhouse of what their Disney show is. I'm thinking Miley Cyrus, Selena Gomez, and that kind of stuff. It feels like one of those, don't confuse me for the character I play on TV. This guy's mean. He's going to say slurs. He's going to shoot a bunch of people up. And I applaud him for that because I think to a certain extent, you have to do that when you're trying to make a pivot into a different medium. There are times where I look at him and say, I don't know. It's just not that convincing to me.
I gotta say, though, so the movie he did before From Dusk Till Dawn is a 1993 movie called The Harvest, which stars Miguel Ferrer in his one of his only leading role performances.
Oh, nice. I love Miguel Ferrer.
It has George Clooney listed as a cameo, although I think in 1993 that would have just been he was a bit part in the movie.
Sure, yeah.
His role, lip-syncing transvestite.
Whoa. Okay. Wait, what is the plot of The Harvest?
So it's a crime thriller, not a horror film. But it's a writer flies to Mexico to finish an action movie script in a hurry, and he dives into the seedy life and gets inspiration at a hefty price. But basically George Clooney's career was populated with horror films. Yeah, so you have Grizzly, Return to Horror High, Return of the Killer Tomatoes, and then in the early 90s he had some like other stuff that was not really notable.
Okay, so this is in some ways a return to form for him. A little bit of crime, a little bit of horror.
Yeah, actually, yeah. Which I feel like this is probably the last horror film he would do. Unless you want to count Spy Kids 3D Game Over, where he plays the president.
Wow, sir. Wow. But also Robert Rodriguez.
Well, that's the thing, right? Your buddy. Of course you're going to get George Clooney if he says yes.
I mean, that is one of the funniest things. When I was putting together this kind of characters and actors, where have we seen them before? I was like, oh, well, because it's a Robert Rodriguez film, half of the cast of this is just from other Robert Rodriguez films.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, the game is kind of fun in certain places and not at all fun in other ways.
And actually, you know what? The movie that I would recommend, if you're kind of like on my same wavelength, like, George Clooney doesn't really have a lot of range as an actor. Like, he's a good actor at what he's good at, but like he doesn't have a lot of range.
Yeah. Are you going to say Three Kings?
No, I'm actually going to say Burn After Reading.
Okay, yeah, you've talked about that before. You're a fan of that one.
Have you never seen Burn After Reading?
I have. It hasn't stuck out. I remember Brad Pitt in it, and that's about it.
Oh my god, Tilda Swinton is a heinous bitch in that movie. She's so funny. Frances McDormand is one of the most unlikable protagonists of any movie. Anyway, it feels like George Clooney parodying his persona in that movie.
Oh, okay.
And I really appreciate it when actors take potshots of themselves.
Oh, sure. Yeah, it's always very fun. It tells you that they have a sense of humor about who they are as a celebrity, which I appreciate.
Also, we need to get you to watch Burn After Reading again ASAP. It is so fun. It is it is a 5-star comedy for me.
Wow. Okay.
I will not back. That is a high praise. I love it.
You were like, I will not back down.
No, it is so funny. It is so. My husband and I will rewatch that once a year.
Okay. Nice. I love that for you.
The dildo chair, man.
I don't remember that, so yes, clearly I do need to rewatch it. Okay, so yes, we're establishing the relationship between the brothers. We're telling Gloria, this is how you're going to survive this. Don't try to run away. Just play cool. Be smart about this. And then the minute that Seth leaves, Richie invites her to watch TV with him, and he pats the bed, and you just think, well, this isn't going to end well.
I do like in quotation marks. Because I do think there is a lot of tension in this scene where you're well, because again, at this point in the film, you're like, cool, these are our protagonists, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. I just watched The Way of the Gun, and I'm not going to lie, it feels very similar in tone where you think, oh, these are our protagonists, but they're anti-heroes. They are kind of doing okay things, but they're also hurting people. They seem to have very loose morals, if they have any at all. And it felt like this was the time and place that we used to do these kinds of dusty Western, like revisionist neo-noir Western type films popular at this time.
Also, The Way of the Gun, another Juliette Lewis movie.
It is, yeah. Not as much of an interesting showcase for her. She's just the pregnant lady in that one.
I've never seen it. Is Ryan Phillippe good in it?
He is kind of like George Clooney in this film, where you can see him trying to break out of a particular mold, and he doesn't always manage it. Benicio del Toro, on the other hand, fucking A+.
I figured. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so Seth has gone. Richie is looking after our hostage. Let's introduce some new characters. So we move the action over to Emma and Pete's Gravy Train Diner, and we've got a quote-unquote self-contained family. So we have former Pastor Jacob, played by Harvey Keitel. I was disappointed to continue this game. This is our very first Harvey Keitel film.
That is wild to me.
I know, but I looked through his filmography and he really does not touch genre. Like, he does not do horror films.
Yeah, it's usually a lot of action-y type films. I mean,
yes.
I guess that makes a lot of sense. Well, maybe we should, maybe when we finish the Horror Queers podcast, we'll do action queers or something.
I mean, I'm not going to lie. I've thought of doing a Patreon spinoff or something because it does seem like it could be fun.
Non-horror queers. Everything that's not horror. We can just cover what we want.
Okay, the scope of that is a little creeping, but sure, we'll negotiate. We'll talk about it.
It just means it can go on forever.
Sure. The horror side is going to trickle off at some point.
Well, horror is dead. I don't know what you're talking about.
Right, yes. Okay, we also have Son Scott, who is played by Ernest Liu, and this guy has 0 acting credits, so guess what? We have not talked about him before.
Yeah, I figured that.
What about daughter Kate, who was played by Juliette Lewis? Trace, tell me how many times we have talked about her on the podcast.
Honestly, the only thing coming to mind for me is Opus.
Okay, you are correct. There are 2 other titles, so we have talked about several seasons of Yellow Jackets.
Oh, right. Okay, I was thinking movies, but yes, you're right. Yellow Jackets. And what's the other one?
We have Ma.
I forgot she was in Ma.
I know, right?
Okay, wait, but the fact that we have not covered Martin Scorsese's Cape Fear is really upsetting to me.
Here's the thing. I have thought about it, and then I realized we're supposed to be getting some kind of, I think it's an Apple TV series in the near future, so I figure we might try to coincide with that.
Oh my god, and you know what it is? It's Javier Bardem as the Robert De Niro character, and Amy Adams in the Jessica Lange role.
All right, and guess what, Trace? I have not seen either version of Cape Fear.
I have not seen the original, the Robert Mitchum one, which I should have pointed that out, though, too, because one of the reasons that Tarantino really wanted George Clooney for this movie is that he gave off a Robert Mitchum vibe. So it's kind of funny that he was like, I wanted Clooney because he gave like the Robert Mitchum like Cape Fear vibe, but then we also have Juliette Lewis, who was in the remake of Cape Fear.
Yeah. I will confess I do not get a lot of Robert Mitchum from George Clooney, so that's interesting.
I have no reference point for that, honestly, so I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, he's in a lot of crime and film noir kind of titles.
Yeah, but either way, yes to covering that movie, or both, whenever that TV show comes out.
Jesus Christ, this episode is just becoming a laundry list of future
Sorry,
things
y'all.
to cover, so... Okay.
Brainstorming.
So in the hotel room, in the motel, because this is not a hotel, this is very firmly a motel, we see a news report with a reporter, unnamed, but we do have a Kelly Preston credit here.
A Kelly Preston. I know. I did a double take when I saw this. I was like, is that Kelly Preston?
Well, it's because it's a blink and you'll miss it. But so she is hyperventilating. Like, this feels like satire, especially coming in the wake of something like Natural Born Killers, which is all about media sensationalism and true crime and that kind of stuff. This news reporter is gushing, like, oh my God, and the body count with these boys is rising.
Well, no, but we have like a number ticker where she's the death toll is now 16. And she's like, 5 Texas Rangers. And we see like the 4 Texas Rangers that it increases to 5. 8 police officers, 6 to 8, and 3 civilians. And it's like, this is hilariously in bad taste.
It is, but it also feels, I mean... As somebody who is now regularly covering true crime, this does feel very accurate to the way that some people gleefully talk about like death tolls and numbers of victims and that kind of stuff. Like, ooh, isn't it sexy and fun? And you're like, no, those are real human beings. Why are we pretending like this is an exciting thing?
Meanwhile, we have John Saxon showing up as like the lead detective in this case for just this bit.
Yes, this is FBI agent Stanley Chase. Trace, the number of times I had to go to IMDb or Wikipedia to get names for characters in this film, because guess what? They never say character names. But yes, John Saxon, who confirms that the manhunt is personal. So, Trace, play the game. How many times have we talked about Kelly Preston?
Oh, fuck. Wait, she was in an old movie. She was a bit part... in a high school movie. Christine was the one.
It is Christine, the one and only time. Now here's a fun one. How many times have we talked about John Saxon?
Tenebrae.
Yes.
Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yes.
Wes Craven's New Nightmare.
Yes. 2 more.
Ooh, fuck. I don't know.
Nightmare on Elm Street 3.
We covered 3? Oh,
yeah, we have an audio commentary on it.
God damn it. Those commentaries throw me, man.
And then we also have Black Christmas.
Oh, shit. Oh, I should have gotten that one. Yeah, that's fair. Okay.
No, that was the one I also forgot. I was like, Tenebrae, immediately.
I know.
Nightmare on Elm Street, the original.
Why did
New
I remember
Nightmare.
Tenebrae?
Yes.
We've moved past this. I do want to say, I do think that in terms of acting performance in this movie, I do think Harvey Keitel is my MVP.
Oh, he's fantastic.
I really like him in this movie. I think the faithless pastor preacher is kind of like an old tropey like archetype of a character, but I think he adds a lot of pathos to this movie, to the point where in the action heavy like back half, I really do feel for him when he has to get killed.
I fully agree. I feel like the movie gently misunderstands how best to construct this arc. Like, we needed to keep him around all the way until the end because the whole bit with him and Chris, it's like, sure, it kind of pays things off, but also the timing of it is incorrect because the whole movie ultimately, emotionally, hinges on the Harvey Keitel character. But the problem is that Seth is the protagonist.
Yeah.
Okay, so Seth returns with food, and we see, I like the way that this is shot. So we see flashes of the gore. So what Richie has done to this poor Gloria woman. She has very clearly been sexually assaulted and then murdered, but even when we sort of see her body, it's in the background, so it's not gratuitous.
Yeah, I love the way this is presented, because I think everything you need to know about what Richie did to her, you see on George Clooney's face.
Yes, agreed. And he is shocked. He is grossed out. He is disappointed because, like, the reason we're into this trouble is in part, large part, because of Richie and his capacity for violence. And it doesn't match with logic or reality. So Seth thought, okay, well, we just need this woman. We need to get past the border. We're going to meet up with my contact and we'll get to El Rey and things will be okay. And then you kill the hostage. So now we've got a body to dispose of, or we just immediately have to run. And you think none of the plans can come together if Richie continues to act this way.
Yeah, and this is the point where I'm just like, y'all are brothers. Y'all are both in your late 20s or mid 30s. Yeah, sorry, I remember. And the brother thing can take you so far, but I wish there was more of a conversation between these two where Seth really is like, I mean, he does ask me, like, what is wrong with you? Like, what is it me? Like, what happened? Blah, blah, blah. But I wish there was a more, like, productive conversation between these two brothers.
Yeah, and maybe this is one of those situations where we as a viewer just say, ugh, make it make sense or make it easier for us to work with, because the reality is that a character like Richie doesn't change. Doesn't matter if you get angry at him or if you threaten him or even if you beat him the fuck up. He has a problem. He will never get better. He will not stop doing this. So truly the answer would be you need to leave him behind or turn him in or whatever.
Yeah.
But the film is trying to advocate for this idea that Seth will do anything for his brother. And I think that works up until a point, but also the film seems very reticent to actually do the, like, blood is stronger than X, because really it's a vampire movie. Like, it's a beat you want to hit and ultimately say, oh, the real blood ties are not necessarily the blood within our veins. Like, that's just what the vampires want. But at a certain point, I've got to walk away because I can't deal with my brother anymore.
Oh, so is it a chosen family situation?
I think so, yes, because really that's what we end up with in this film, right? It's about Seth and Kate losing everybody and realizing they're a pretty good pair, but also they can't go together.
Honestly, the fact that they don't end up, I mean, not end up together romantically, but that she doesn't like go off with him is, I do find
it's
very
a little weird.
The very end of this movie, I think, is very unsatisfying.
Well, and I think part of the problem is that she is 17 years old in this movie, and it feels very like this is a Quentin Tarantino specialty where we are sexualizing and fetishizing this girl who is right on the cusp of adulthood. And it's creepy. I'm not going to try to apologize or excuse it, but it feels like one of those things where that's why we can't have her ultimately go with Seth, because in some ways, even if we say it's not sexual, they're not going to fuck, the implication would still be it's a grown-ass man with this underage girl.
And that is why I say, everyone, go watch the TV show.
There we go. Yeah, it does sound like it fixes a number of these problems.
It really, really does, honestly. So really, truthfully, like, I watched this movie and I'm like, cool, I'm going to go watch this.
I'm going to go watch the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but and granted, like, you know, Juliette Lewis was in her, I think, early to mid 20s playing this. But yeah, I mean, like, she had been in Natural Born Killers. And I mean, she was Oscar nominated for Cape Fear. But there is a really, I'm not going to say iconic, but infamous scene in which Robert De Niro comes on to her as a teenage girl, and it is very uncomfortable. So it's like, she was like, if you were gonna cast someone in this particular role, it does make sense that it would have been Juliette Lewis.
Oh, sure. Like, I remember every movie I saw her in, she was playing this either a vulnerable sexualized girl or a sexualized woman who was kind of skanky dirty, for lack of a better term. Like,
man.
This was the role that she played in the 90s. And then I remember when she came out with The Other Sister, it was like, wait, what are we doing with this movie? Because that's not who Juliette Lewis usually plays.
I'm so glad you brought up The Other Sister, because I remember my mom rented The Other Sister. I was probably like 10 or 11 when that came out, and I remember my mom had a couple actresses that she really didn't like. And Juliette Lewis is
not where I thought you were going with this.
No, because she was always, Juliette Lewis is trash. Like she is.
Yes.
And I think the unspoken term there was white trash.
I think my mom thought the exact same thing, because I remember my mom adamantly saying, we are not watching Natural Born Killers. That movie is offensive. It's, immoral, but also it was basically no white trash in the house.
Right? And I'm just like, I think she plays white trash a lot.
100%.
But that doesn't make her white trash.
It's called she's acting. That's not who the actor is.
But Juliette Lewis is a bit abrasive is not the right word, but she is very, counterculture, maybe, is the phrase I might want to use.
I mean, even up until the point, Yellow Jackets has made some very astute decisions in casting its adult cast, and I think they knew exactly what they were doing when they cast Juliette Lewis for Natalie, because she does have that hard edge to her. And as you said, I think counterculture is the right idea. She seems like she could live on the margins of society, biker gangs, tattoo parlors, heavy drinking dive bars. She does have that element to her, just I think in part because it feels like she would be able to hold her own in those environments.
Yeah, I fully agree.
So the family arrives at the motel and they almost immediately run over Seth, but it's a fun shot because he just kind of stares them down. But it also means that they have put themselves firmly into his gaze and we are down a hostage. So of course, what are we going to do but track this family down? Them in their convenient RV, Trace.
I didn't even think about that. The necessity of Richie killing the hostage so they had a reason to go for the family.
Right. Yeah. Hypothetically, we might have let this family go if we still had Gloria, but since we don't, and that RV could be really, really useful. So sure, let's go for the all-American family minus the dead wife.
I gotta say, every time I see an RV in a movie, I'm always like, I would want to do that. I would want to drive around the country in an RV, but then I'm like, keeping the upkeep.
I mean, it's like a tiny house, so it's not like there's that much to clean, and it's got a little mini septic tank and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, but you gotta take the septic tank to be taken care of.
I guess, yeah.
I don't know.
Anyway. I don't know. I think you should try it sometime. It could probably be fun.
It'll happen. My husband says he wants to get an RV and drive around the country when we're old, so we're gonna be that couple.
Okay, I love that. Yeah. So the Geckos end up taking the family hostage, and we make some racially insensitive comments about the fact that Jacob and Chris don't apparently look alike. So,
George, Seth's first guess as to what they are is that they're a couple of fags.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, because the age difference there also. I was like, this is a child.
Yes. Yeah. This is a mid-teens boy and Harvey Keitel, who has always looked the same age.
Right?
Yeah. So clearly, these dudes are shit. They're just not great. And we have had that confirmed multiple times at this point. So none of this is particularly surprising, nor is it particularly surprising when Richie imagines a half-naked Kate making a lewd suggestion about eating her out. So.
Okay, but for me, I don't know how it felt for you. This is very uncomfortable, obviously, because
super uncomfortable because she's underage and she's half naked. She's just wearing a towel. But I will say Juliette Lewis sells this line of dialogue.
But I do think it's funny too. And I remember when this played in theaters, we got a gasp first.
Sure.
And then a lot of nervous laughter afterwards. And
I could see it. Yeah.
In that Full Tilt Boogie documentary, you can see her actually doing this multiple takes because she's like, oh, fuck, I'm playing it up too much. And she'll do it multiple times. But
okay.
Yeah. I mean, everyone just, Richie, would you do me a favor and eat my pussy for me, please? What? Mm-hmm. It's a 17-year-old girl saying this.
Well, but of course it's not, because this is meant to be from Richie's point of view,
sure.
so that we can actually understand his line of thinking, which again, I don't know if I need the movie to actually offer us insight into how his mind is working. I actually feel like it's pretty fucking clear. So it's an interesting creative decision to say like, oh, well, he is just truly perceiving the world through a different lens.
I do think it's clear. I don't mind having this here, but I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Joe, is it the only instance of this that we have?
It is, yes.
Where we actually see or hear what Richie is seeing and hearing.
Correct, yes.
Yeah, so if it was happening more throughout the film, I would be like, yeah, sure. But this seems just like an excuse to get Juliette Lewis to say this line of dialogue.
To say naughty words, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, it's interesting that you say that because I'm trying to think of how I would react if I got more repeated instances of this, and I think I would need it to be from different characters to highlight, like maybe we could have had Gloria do it and then maybe Santanico or something like that, just to offer that he sees every woman in this kind of sexualized, subjugated position.
I guess this is meant to be the confirmation, though, because I think, like in the first scene with John Hawkes, when he's like, oh, he mouthed help us or help me or whatever, I think maybe you're kind of meant to be like, well, maybe he did, because if I was that person, I would want to. And when it comes to the hostage, you're like, well, we don't see anything that happens there, so we don't know. And this is meant to be the confirmation that's like, no, he is like,
fully imagining things.
He has a screw loose. Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so question then, circling back, would you have liked it if we had have seen an instance of this, but maybe not always sexualized? So like, would you have wanted to have seen the point of view of Richie when we see Pete talking to the Ranger and Pete just, very obviously says, help me, or something like that?
Now that I'm talking about it, I'm kind of like, no, I kind of like the progression of it, because I think you're supposed to, up until this point, really question whether he's telling the truth or not. And it's like, oh, he's telling the truth for his version of the truth because he really thinks he saw this.
He actually does, yeah.
But because we're dealing in like borderline exploitation, it has to be this line of dialogue.
And this character.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I mean, I like Quentin Tarantino and Robert Rodriguez as filmmakers, but I'm not going to lie. The kind of straight male energy that they give off it just bristles me at times.
Absolutely. And I also, in that documentary too, like it opens really obnoxiously. It's directed by, I think, a female crew member on the set, by the way, but like it opens with Clooney and Tarantino like walking down the halls of probably Troublemaker Studios in Austin, Texas, but like to the Bee Gees Staying Alive. And like they're walking down, but you could hear someone when they're walking by goes, oh, you a couple of fags? And I was like, what? Why is this in this documentary?
Oh my God. Yeah. Truly just a different time, wasn't it? Not the best of times.
I mean, I believe they would probably do that today with Tarantino Rodriguez, but yeah.
Yeah, maybe just keep the cameras off or something.
Yeah.
Okay, so Seth decides he's going to take charge of this situation. So Richie is in the back with the kids. Seth is up front soliciting details from Jacob about his dead wife who died in a Signs-esque car accident.
Yes.
Not gonna lie, I think that Shyamalan owes some residuals to this movie because all I could do was picture, Signs, but then also I went to Scary Movie 3 with the increasingly large Cameron Manheim hat.
100%. Also, we don't have to go back to it, sort of point out, like, I do think it's really disturbing that we have Richie make Scott fillet the gun in that last scene.
Okay, so interestingly enough, I think that this also happens in the way of the gun. So maybe this was something we did at the time, but it is definitely a way for men to show dominance and to emasculate other men. Like, what's the easiest way to make it seem like you are giving head to something that could blow off the back of yours?
I just think, though, that it's happening to minors in this movie.
That's your exploitation, right?
It does make this movie stand apart from a lot of its like peers of the time. Where I remember even like watching this, because this aired on TV a lot when I was growing up, and it's kind of weird, right? Because you're like, well, how do you cut this to make it like palatable? But I guess it's a lot of language and the violence at the end, but still, I remember just being kind of shocked that teenagers were going through this stuff.
Yeah, that's an excellent point. I think part of it is that sometimes I forget that they are teenagers because they seem to be really just towing that line between, okay, they're either couple years shy of adulthood or right on that line.
Yeah. But as a teenager watching this, I was like, cool, I could do this. I mean, not really, but...
Oh my God. This could be my exciting life. Ooh, let me make an illegal ride into Mexico across the border.
But I imagine that was also probably a part of what studios were saying, like, no, we can't do this, because like, of what you're doing to children in this movie.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, this feels like the kind of thing that you're going to see on late night television, right? Where it's like the kids have to be in bed, and this is like an 18 or an R-rated kind of program.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. So basically, we are approaching the border. So now it is time to make some plans. This is how things are going to work. And it's uncomfortable because, yes, of course, we end up with the teenage daughter with the two guys pressed up in the bathroom. And we've got Jacob and his son trying to pretend like everything is okay. And I do think that this is the first sort of sign of, I don't want to say life, because I think Harvey Keitel has been present in the film, but we get a sense of Jacob's moral conviction, right? Where he says, no, you're not going to fucking say anything because I'm in charge. We're going to play by my rules. So it's really establishing a kind of connection between him and Seth. Like they both need to take charge of their respective families.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, I still think Keitel doing really good work here. And I also like seeing hostage situations where the hostage like knows how to play the game.
Yeah, you can get some really good conflict-driven narrative pieces out of that. Yeah. Okay, so we pull up. We should also note, of course, that we do get this moment where Kate gets fetishized in a number of shots from Richie's perspective, and it does include her feet. Because it's Quentin Tarantino.
I will say, though, again, it's played for comedy, it's played for laughs, but like when he says, like, I'll do that thing you asked me to do earlier, and she's like, What are you talking about?
Yeah. I think that's also in there for the people not paying attention in the back of the theater who were like, oh, so that didn't happen. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Just making sure.
In case you thought that she actually said that to him and no one said anything about it.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay, so it's time for a tense border crossing. So the brothers hide, in the bathroom with Kate. We've got Jacob up front, and the brothers are bickering to the point where Richie is going to once again explode this whole situation.
And again, this is where I'm like, Seth, why don't you just knock this fucker out right now?
Yeah, he does wait an awfully long time, but eventually it does get to that point where we do knock Richie out, and this is just in time for Border Guard, who is played by Cheech Marin in the first of his 3 roles in this movie. And he comes in, and of course he has heard something, and Jacob has made a slip up. He said, oh, it's just me and my son. Oh, wait, my daughter's in the bathroom. So this Border Guard comes on, and of course he opens the door to the toilet, and once again, Juliette Lewis doing a great job as Kate, cussing this border guard out. Shut the fucking door, please.
Yeah, she's like pretending to be pooping or something in this bathroom.
True. And what could be worse than a teenage girl pooping? Nothing makes me want to fuck less.
Oh my God, right? Total boner killer.
Yeah. But it's a great moment for Kate. It saves the day. This border guard leaves and we manage to get by. And yay, we are into fucking Mexico.
Yeah, and Seth is all of a sudden a very cool customer.
Indeed he is, because all of a sudden it's like, I think if I remember correctly, I looked this up because so many movies made a narrative of crossing the U.S. border to get into Mexico because there is no extradition back.
Is that still, do you know if that's still the case?
I don't know if it's still the case. No. I mean, in the day and age of overreaching into other political spectrums, I would be surprised if it is still the case.
Well, okay, here's interesting. Mexico and the United States do have an extradition treaty signed in 1978 and amended in 1997 that allows for the extradition of individuals who have committed crimes in either country and are fugitives from justice. But I guess it's more so it's like they have to know that you're there and like find you.
Sure. And maybe there's an element of plausible deniability, like, well, we don't know that they came in. How would we know? They snuck in on an RV that was driven by a nice pastor.
Well, and maybe it's also kind of a Rachel thing where it's like, are Mexican police like really going to care about us over here? They have their own problems to worry about.
Yeah, I don't know. Unless they want to curry favor.
Maybe.
Be like, yeah, America, don't hate us as much because you're racist. But here, we'll give you your criminals back. Anyway, okay. So we've got a course to set. We will drive through the dusk until we get to the infamous Titty Twister. And this is when Seth wakes his brother up and we make a lie that he fainted. Unexpectedly, he hit his head. Oh, his glasses are broken and he can't see very well. But we're still in fucking Mexico, so it was worth it.
Yes, but it's fine because we're heading to the Titty Twister.
We are indeed, yeah. So we reach the bar. We've got fire blasting into the night. We've got a neon illuminated sign, and this bar is open from dawn until dusk, or dusk until dawn.
Dusk until dawn.
There we go.
That would just be a daylight bar.
I mean, the reverse of this movie. How interesting would that be? Like, oh, I guess it's just
from dawn till dusk.
Maybe it would just be like Feast, where I know that movie is also about surviving the night, but it's also kind of like lock yourself in the bar and stay there as long as humanly possible.
I've actually been wanting to revisit Feast for a really long. We should cover the Feast too.
I love Feast. Second one, not so much.
I've heard the third one's pretty fun though.
I have heard that as well. Yeah.
I guess we're going to do a Feast month anyway. Okay, but Joe, I'm not going to repeat this monologue verbatim, but I will say, I'm telling you, in your edit, you have to insert this entire Cheech Marin monologue into the episode.
All right, pussy, come on in, pussy lovers. Here at the Titty Twister, we're slashing pussy in half. Give us an offer on our best selection of pussy. This is a pussy blowout. All right, we got white pussy, black pussy, Spanish pussy, yellow pussy. We got hot pussy, cold pussy. We got wet pussy. We got smelly pussy. We got hairy pussy, bloody pussy. We got snapping pussy. We got silk pussy, velvet pussy, nalga hide pussy. Even got horse pussy, dog pussy. Chicken pussy, come on, you want pussy? Come on in, pussy lovers. If we don't got it, you don't want it. Come on in, pussy lovers.
Oh my god. And then we just immediately get flagged on YouTube.
Pussy.
Yes. So I didn't know that this character actually had a name. So in my notes, I just called him the Pussy Barker because he's basically, he's like a carnival barker, right? You know, like step right up, watch the creep show, watch the freak show or something. Only in this case, it's every kind of pussy. And it's disgusting because, again, we're talking about an underage girl, but him calling Kate
apple pie pussy.
What the fuck?
For me, the piece de resistance of this entire monologue is that we got smelly pussy.
I mean, Cheech Marin is biting into that. Like, do we call this a monologue? Do we call this?
Yeah. I had to look up what Naugahyde was because he says Naugahyde pussy, but that's apparently a type of leather.
Okay. I mean, I guess it still works because this is a biker bar.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a lot. It's very fun, but it's also just like, fuck me. Men made this movie so
honestly
quickly.
It is bizarre watching this as a gay man. I'm watching this and I'm like, here's the thing, gay men, I would argue, are worse when it comes to cock.
I think so.
I have seen way worse things in porn and on Twitter and whatever from people just like OnlyFans. We are not better than this.
No, we're just different. Yeah. I guess the difference here is that this to me feels so performative. Like it feels like a day and age where we were trying to lure people into dirty movies or strip clubs. And it was all about the idea of buying sex, but not actually having sex, like the kind of forbidden fruit idea, as opposed to, you know, a Grindr profile where you're actively soliciting for somebody to come over and fuck you or vice versa.
Yeah. I would love to know, and I don't know the answer to this question, if this was actually in the script or if they asked Marin to ad-lib this.
I could easily see this being ad-lib by him. Like, I'm just riffing. I'm just going to keep going until you yell cut, and I'm going to think of every fucking type.
But on that same side of the coin, I could also see Quentin Tarantino writing this.
Agreed. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure it's there in the screenplay. We could look it up, but
yeah, I'm sure
either version is fully believable. Yes. All right, we move inside the bar. We get a 360-degree pan that highlights the dancing girls, the bar fights, as well as the band. And Seth marches right up to the bartender, Razor Charlie, played by Danny Trejo, and he orders whiskey, but he is rebuffed because this is a biker and trucker bar, and they do not fit that bill. So Jacob has to diffuse the situation because that is what Jacob does. He is level-headed. He does things that even Seth cannot do. So he clarifies he's got his Class 2 RV license, and that qualifies him as a trucker. And unfortunately, that will seal their fate.
I know, but I really, again, I love Jacob being like, you know what I got to do. It's fine. Like, I know this is kind of dipping its toes into that territory of like, oh, good guys having to like work together with them, even though they're not working together right now. Like they are cooperating right now.
Yeah, because it's still in Jacob's interest to stay on Seth's good side because he still mistakenly believes that if he doesn't cause a fuss, if he doesn't try to escape, as Seth promised, Jacob and his family will be set free at the end of all this.
Yeah, which, I mean, honestly, I believe Seth, though.
I want to believe Seth, but that's the whole reason we got that glorious scene, is that it's not as simple as that.
Well, okay, if it was up to Seth, yes, it'd be fine. But Richie is the wild card in this scenario.
And Richie is still in play, so.
For now.
Okay, Trace, play the game. Danny Trejo.
Okay, I know Anaconda for sure.
Correct.
I don't know, man.
So you can play the wild card here because technically we talked about the Machete trailer when we talked about Planet Terror.
Yeah.
But we didn't talk about Machete the movie, which of course would be a better example. Right. But there is one other title.
Okay, so there's one. So I'm not looking for like 5 other films. There's one other film that we've talked about Danny Trejo in.
Well, I could give you more information, but it would reveal the answer.
Fuck. I do not know the answer to this question. Wait. Let me give me like 5 seconds. One.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, man.
Okay. I can give you a hint.
Yeah, go ahead.
We recorded this episode together in person.
Oh, Devil's Rejects.
Correct. Yeah. So our episode on the Devil's Rejects and 3 from Hell, because he is apparently in both.
Oh, shit. Don't remember that. But okay. And that's about to get a new 4K release too. So maybe I'll have to revisit that movie.
There we go. Yeah. So, folks, that's one of our not early episodes on Patreon, but it is from the first year. And yes, that was the first time that Trace and I met in person. We recorded that episode. You can hear us bumping our legs against the table.
Oh, my God. And being wasted. I was wasted for that episode.
We were super wasted.
I'm so drunk.
Okay, so Seth clears the riffraff from a table so that they can sit down. This is when we're introduced to Sex Machine, played by Tom Savini, as well as his infamous or notorious crotch gun.
I'm mad we don't get more usage out of this crotch gun.
Right? Just the one time.
Yeah, but I will say, though, his little baby whip, I love it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's very fun. I love Tom Savini in this movie.
He's really fun. Yeah, absolutely. And this is clearly the K&B effects guys. Like, hey, Tom, you want to come over here for a bit and be in this movie?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Play the game. Tom Savini. How many times have we talked about him as an actor?
As an actor?
I didn't have time to look up how many times we've talked about his special effects.
Did we do a guest spot on another podcast with Maniac together, or was that just me?
Oh, I think we did do Maniac, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
That is not one of the ones I had counted, though.
Oh, fuck, well, I beat you.
There you go.
I have no idea. I'm not gonna lie, I have no fucking idea.
I mean, one of them is a Robert Rodriguez film. Come on, you can figure this out.
Oh, okay, so that's Planet Terror.
Yes.
Yeah, that's all I got, Joe. I'm not gonna lie.
I'll put you out of your misery. Okay, we've got the Dawn of the Dead remake.
He's in that?
He is in that, yeah. He's one of the people in the mall. And then, of course, last year's Terrifier 3.
Oh, right.
There's that little cameo where he gets interviewed after the massacre at the mall.
Fuck. Honestly, I'm more perplexed by the Dawn of the Dead remake. I might try to remember him in that movie. Oh, my God.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
It's not like a huge role or anything, but
yeah, but
he's apparently in both Dawn of the Dead, so
that
it
is
makes sense.
wild. That is wild. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was like, oh yeah, Dawn of the Dead. And then I realized we've never covered the original. And then I was like, we've never covered any of the Romero films.
We have not, which honestly, that really bad on us, to be honest.
Well, they're not especially queer. Although I will make the argument that Flyboy is secretly queer.
They're not, but honestly, I need an excuse to watch Day of the Dead because I've never seen Day of the Dead.
That's true. And a bunch of people did reach out to us and say, you need to cover it.
Well, everyone, y'all are getting a real peek behind the curtain in this episode as to our planning skills.
Well, or the reason why we never get to your suggestions is because the list is like 600 films, always.
I know, and I'm like, well, this show can't go on for another year. We have no films to cover. And then it's like, oh yeah, we have a lot of films I haven't seen we have to cover.
Trace, we've already completely filled out next year's
that doesn't surprise me, Joe.
No, not at all. Okay, so Jacob refuses to drink because he's not drinking right now. So Seth turns to the kids and we begin to do shots with them.
I love this. I love this so much.
It's good times, but Jacob doesn't really take kindly to this because this is clearly Seth being a sore loser. He didn't get what he wants. He's not in control. He wants to control even Jacob in this moment. So this is where we get this kind of back and forth where Jacob essentially says, stop being a sore fucking loser, you baby whiny bitch. And Seth doesn't take too kindly to this.
But who cares, man? This is such good work for Jacob, too. I mean, again, Keitel doing really good work here. But, like, he needs to take Seth down a peg.
Oh, 100%. If anything, again, this sort of confirms that there is a power play going on between these two men where they need to dominate or be in control of the situation. And they finally encountered somebody else who is as level-headed as them. Like in another world, Jacob and Seth could actually get along if one of them wasn't a reform pastor and one of them wasn't a bank robber. Yeah. But the circumstances have forced them to work together, but they're way more alike than they care to admit.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Which is what should make all of these scenes interesting and does to a point.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think then we get into the vampire stuff and we just kind of like shit the bed with all the character development.
The other thing we're about to. We have a couple more things and then it's bam, Vampire City.
Indeed we do. Yes. Okay. So next up, Razor Charlie introduces the Mistress of the Macabre. So enter Santanico Pandemonium, played by one Selma Hayek. And we have got to talk about this costume. Like, people can definitely say there's nothing particularly queer about From Dusk Till Dawn.
Whoa.
Mm-hmm.
Female worship.
Exactly.
As much of a masturbatory fantasy as this scene is and was for many, many, many straight men, I can tell you right now that while I wasn't getting sexual pleasure from this scene, my brain was jacking off to this scene because, and again, that's where the show comes in, where I'm like, you want so much more from Selma Hayek in this movie because she makes such, and again, she has a terrifying, like paralyzing fear of snakes. And that she does this scene with this boa constrictor, it is wild. This is an amazing introduction for a character that doesn't, that isn't an actual character.
No, not at all. Like, if anything, it's and Selma Hayek has appeared on screen. And the fact that we just get a full-blown number from her. And, I mean, Robert Rodriguez, love him or hate him, he knows how to shoot women and make them incredibly sexy and powerful and captivating. And this character, we know nothing about her except for the fact that she is apparently a dancer at this bar. And just commands the stage, absolutely dominates the proceedings for, I want to say, about 2.5 minutes.
Yeah, it's a full number. It's not edited where it's like, oh, it's a 3-minute musical number that we're condensing to a minute for movie time. No. We are seeing this entire thing scored to Tito and Tarantula's After Dark, which they're the band playing, which they'll eventually have a torso guitar, which I think is really fun.
I fucking love that detail.
Yeah, it's really funny. It makes no fucking sense. Like, when did they switch? When did they swap it out? I don't know.
It doesn't make any sense, no.
But all of this, like, because I remember, because they don't edit this on TV because there's no nudity, right? Like, you're not seeing her titties in this scene.
No.
But it's a full number. Honestly, okay, we know that Quentin Tarantino has a foot fetish. And if it was not clear before, it's very clear in this movie. Because Salma Hayek shoves her foot in his mouth and pours tequila. I think it's tequila.
Yeah.
Down her leg, which runs in his. It is so sexy. This is so sexy.
It's so funny. I was going to be like, stop, pause, you're stuttering. And then I was like, no, it's accurate because it breaks your brain to process. This moment is so hot. And yes, obviously it's Quentin Tarantino with his goddamn fucking foot fetish. And yet, even if we just set that aside for a moment, this moment is so undeniably hot and sexy.
Yeah.
I kind of don't care. Like, I squash my annoyance with Quentin Tarantino for forcing his fetish into these movies and just say, Salma Hayek kills this.
Yeah, it's wild. And we are just before the hour mark of this movie.
Right. And what a perfect transition into the back half. Like, we can quibble with the fact that Hayek doesn't really get a character. She really barely even gets a line in the fucking movie. But it is a showstopper piece that bridges the crime and the vampire narratives.
Yeah, 100%. I just wish she was in this movie. Because
100%.
It frames her as kind of like the queen of the vampires.
Yes. I mean, the boa constrictor alone, it feels regal. She's got this giant feathered headdress. She looks powerful and in control the way that we introduce her. And you think, okay, this is going to be a turning point. She's going to do stuff. And she does, but it's just the transition between genres.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, the fact that she makes this much of an impression with little to no dialogue and maybe 5 minutes of screen time?
Yeah.
Wild. Absolutely wild.
Incredible. Yeah. And of course, we end this sequence with Seth exclaiming, "That's what I call a fucking show." And I feel like that's just an audience proxy kind of comment. Everyone is thinking that.
Absolutely.
Quick sidebar. Trace, play the game. Salma Hayek.
Fuck. Salma Hayek.
Robert Rodriguez is your clue.
Oh, The Faculty.
Indeed. Yeah.
Is that the only one?
Yeah, it's just the one.
Just The Faculty. Fuck.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Again, Salma Hayek doesn't really do a ton of horror stuff.
Which, again, disappointing.
I mean, girl, get over here. My other fun thing that I've never really caught, I saw it in this rewatch, is if you pay attention to George Clooney during the dance, he kind of like almost falls over in his seat. I think in part because he was trying to make sure that he gave Hayek enough room to finish the dance. And the way she's moving, it's like she's slowly backing up. And I think part of it was that he was worried she was either going to fall into him or that he was just going to get like a face full of ass.
Hey, there are worse ways to die.
Yeah, I think somebody's sexual kink is being smothered to death by Salma Hayek for sure.
Have we ever seen death by like smothered ass in a movie before? Like you're eating someone's ass and they just smother you to death?
Probably not by ass. I feel like somebody has smothered. Well, I was going to say tits, but.
Oh, that might be right. Bring back exploitation films.
Trace's eternal plea. Yes.
Honestly.
All right. Well, let's get back to the violence. So we didn't really talk about it, but we did beat up the carnival barker played by Cheech Marin outside before we came into the bar. So we've got to pay the toll for that. So a bunch of guys show up at the table. Richie gets his hand knifed. This is actually the bad hand he was already shot in. And the geckos shoot a bunch of guys. It's that classic sort of, the camera's on them and look at them. They're so cool shooting people. But it does mean that we have blood on the scene. So this will activate our vampires.
I do like this. And again, I've never seen this movie not knowing it was about vampires, that it was going into a vampire film. And so I imagine, too, if you're watching this for the first time, you have no idea what it is. This sequence, which we're really getting a lot of, I think we're playing with the soundtrack a little bit too, where like the music or like the audio was kind of like muting as the vampires were like looking at it.
Right.
This must be exciting. You're just kind of like, what the fuck is going? What are they doing? Oh, it's a vampire movie.
Yeah. And we haven't really talked, because obviously we haven't had any vampires to speak of, but now that moment is here, because yes, Santanico will morph into what I'm going to call a kind of reptile head.
Yeah, I wrote in my notes a big snake vampire. Like,
yeah.
And this is, I don't believe this is Salma Hayek under the makeup, but in any shape, way, or form.
Probably not, no.
But I love this, it's a very striking design, and we get a lot of violence. I mean, I think I messaged you before we did this, where I was like, I'm really interested to know how you do the plot, quote unquote,
yes,
for the back half of this movie, because there's not really any plot happening in this movie. It's more so, and then this happens, and then this happens, and then this happens, and this action scene happens, and blah, 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 blah.
Correct, yes. It's a lot of action.
And that's it. That's my point.
Okay. So my question for you was, what do we think of the effects on the vampires? Because it's not an issue, it's more of an observation. It does feel like there's very distinct characteristics that don't always feel uniform. So, when we see Quentin Tarantino's Richie turn into a vampire, he looks different from when we get Tom Savini's character. And I kind of like it. It feels like they're all individuals, but it doesn't always feel like they're giving vampires. Like, why does Sex Machine turn into a giant rodent?
No, that's a great question. And I think this all goes back to the origins of the story, which is, hey, Robert Kurtzman says we want to have a special effects extravaganza, because this is cut out of the rated version of the movie, but you can see it in the deleted scenes. There is a creature that has like jaws on its belly.
Oh.
And there's a deleted scene where, this guy is screaming and this creature just shoves its head in its belly in the jaws of the... It's like the Thing, where the jaws of the belly like decapitate him.
Yeah.
But in this behind the scenes documentary, they're like, oh yeah, Robert Rodriguez like sketched out a bunch of like art for the different creatures.
Just cool designs.
In the movie. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And basically, whenever we came up with the stomach jaw, he was like, what is
One
that?
step too far.
No, he literally said, what is that? And they were like, what? This is from, you drew this. He goes, I drew that? Okay. So it's very much a thing where it's like, oh, we were just throwing everything like at the kitchen sink and seeing what stuck. But even Robert Rodriguez was like, I don't remember drawing that, but it's cool. Let's put it in the movie.
Wild. I love that. Yeah, just sketched a bunch of shit and then you made models of it and then we shot some of them.
And that's exactly it. So yeah, why Sex Machine becomes a rodent when he gets quote unquote killed as a vampire, there's no logical explanation for it. It's just that was in the...
It looks cool.
It was in the notes they drew. Yeah, absolutely.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, I mean, the same thing, like, why does the band suddenly play a dismembered torso? Because it's cool. Because it's fucking cool.
Why do they explode whenever they're like, bye everybody?
I did wonder that. It feels like a magic trick.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was, but it looks like they all blow up.
Yeah, but also, like, there's a moment where Kate will shoot her brother, and he and a bunch of vampires explode because, we've carved a cross into the bullets. Yeah. But that effect looks very similar to the band, but I fully think the band just kind of magicked themselves out of there, whereas I think we fully blew up Kate's brother.
Oh, yeah. Which, again, watching this as a teenager, I was like, I cannot believe we killed that kid.
Well, okay, so before... That's getting ahead of ourselves. But
it's ahead of ourselves, yeah.
If only because I need to bring it back to the exploitation and the fact that grown men made this movie and we keep doing things to underage teenagers, because we have Chet Pussy, who is back on the scene. He's one of the men who... I know, I can't... It's hilarious every time I say it.
Pussy!
And stop when you say it, though. So he shows up and he's a vampire. So he attacks Kate and she shoves her cross in his mouth. And this causes him to basically, everything pops. So his eyes burst and a bunch of other things. But Trace, I mean, what do we basically do? We have all of this goo splatter onto Kate, but it's white goo.
Oh,
this is a facial shot on an underage teenage girl.
I didn't even put that together. I'm surprised I didn't put that together. That's hilarious.
I always leave it to you to recognize a facial. What the fuck? Come on.
I know. Cum is my expertise. But that's the thing. Like, from this point on, the movie is a roller coaster, and you are either on it or you are not. And there are very few pauses. It is all about survival. And it kind of works as a short film in a way.
Yeah, except that it's nearly 40 minutes.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I think there's two stages of this. So we've got this initial kind of cleaning up the vampires, gather all of the survivors together as we figure out what the fuck is going on. So we need to introduce one additional character. That would be Frost, played by Fred Williamson.
I love Frost.
Frost is great. why don't we ever name Frost? Like, no one uses this character's name.
I'm really glad that you said that, because I was like, what is... I God, this is terrible. I wrote black guy in my notes so many times. I was like, why do I not know this guy's name?
Yeah, because, I mean, obviously we have a number of, like, Mexican actors in the film, and we have one black man in this entire movie, and it's like, you don't even name the character.
But he gets so many badass moments. Like when he impales...
he's fantastic.
He impales these 4 female vampires on
the
overturned
overturned chair.
Yes, it's amazing. It's so good.
I love that. Yes, that's actually right where we are. We do have Santanico punching Seth all the way across the room. Like, so we are doing some wire action here as well, which I appreciate just because it feels so ridiculous and over the top.
Oh, from this point on, it is. That's all it is. And I can imagine, wouldn't you want to be a fly on the wall of the critic screening for this movie?
I don't know. I mean, I think any action film or kind of like a raw, exciting theatrical experience is probably going to be evocative of this.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like, I would hope that people would be having a good time, but maybe, again, if they were among the first people to go into this movie and they hadn't seen a lot of the marketing or something, what is this? Yeah. Okay, so Sex Machine takes out a bunch of vamps with a pool cue, and then he uses Razor Charlie's whip against him. So I like that we're doing a certain amount of whip play in this film, and eventually we stake him in a fiery outline on the pool table.
Oh, it's so... Is this the one he decapitates with the whip too, or is that later?
That's later.
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
we have to speculate that could be a possibility.
Got it. Yeah. It's like a finger whip. It's like a little mini whip that you use for apparently stealing beers.
Yeah, I mean, that seems to be the main reason he has it, is just to be a bit of a shit disturber, but it does prove handy in vampiric attacks.
Yeah.
So Santanico pins Seth down, and she declares that he's going to be her dog, and she's going to name him Spot.
This is the most dialogue Salma Hayek gets in this movie. You know,
yes.
You'll be my footstool, and at my command, you'll lick dog shit from my boot heel. And I love this. Welcome to slavery, as she is morphing into like the snake creature thing.
Mm-hmm.
But then this gets punctuated with Seth's like, no thanks, I already had a wife, which I'm just like, oh,
it's such a low bar, just stupid misogynistic joke where you're like, I mean, it fits the character, so it's not overly surprising, but this is a wet blanket of a retort.
Well, after her like amazing little speech she just gave him.
Yeah.
And the fact that we kill her with the I get it. The chandelier like stakes her. Like that's what happens in this scene.
Yeah.
The fact that we kill her though is really upsetting. Like she's the bad guy. She's the big bad. And granted, we don't have any inclination of like the hierarchy of vampires in this movie. It just seems like they're just there, whatever.
The way she has been visually presented, like her introduction alone suggested that she was a big bad, or she was at least going to be a significant threat. And I guess you could say she is in this moment, but also this is weak sauce. She is so easily dispatched. It's hard not to feel like this is a huge mistake. And this is kind of where I'm not going to say my issues with the film lie, because I actually think the transition from the crime to the vampire is just, it's a little hard.
Yeah.
I don't find it very graceful in its negotiation between genres.
Sure.
But it's moments like this where it seems like Tarantino's script just fundamentally misunderstands the moment. Like maybe he thought, oh, this is cool enough, but it's not Salma Hayek's movie, or it's not this character's movie. And I feel like, no, you need to recognize what you had and do a rewrite.
Well, but I'm not defending this, but on the same level, it is a subversion, because I think, you think, oh, this is going to be the big bad of the movie.
No, yeah. Okay.
And that's not what happens. And that happens in a lot of Tarantino films where you think someone's going to be the main character and they get killed. And you're like, oh, shit. And honestly, it's not necessarily an issue I have with Tarantino, but it's more so it's like a thing where every time I watch a first time viewing of any of his movies where I'm like, oh, that character died. That's really upsetting. I remember Diane Kruger in Inglourious Bastards, where I'm like, oh my God, like why would you kill this woman? Or even Leonardo DiCaprio in Django Unchained, where I'm like, why are you killing him so early in the runtime?
Yeah. I guess it is a bit of a director trademark for Tarantino to subvert expectations. I just I think sometimes it feels like subversion for subversion's sake.
Sure. No,
and sometimes
absolutely.
at the expense of, and I mean, to be clear, he's an auteur. He doesn't owe us anything as an audience, but as an audience member who has seen pretty much every single one of his films, there are certain times where I think, I don't know, that feels like there was a missed opportunity here.
Wait, I'm sorry. Genuine question. You said pretty much every single one of his films. Is there a film off the top of your head that you have not seen of his?
I mean, it depends on how we want to quantify this.
Directing films.
Oh, okay. I think I've seen them all.
Yeah, I've never seen his entry into 4 Rooms. 2 Rooms? 4 Rooms? I think it's 4 Rooms.
4.
And I've seen True Romance, and I've seen Natural Born Killers, but those were college watches. Like, I could not tell you anything about them.
Yeah, those were the ones I was thinking back and saying, I've seen them, but I don't remember a lot about them. Yeah, and then I hate The Hateful Eight. Like, hate it.
Oh, I like it, but that's also a thing where I'm like, but you're one woman, Jennifer Jason Leigh. I'm like, give her more to do, and like
exactly.
Again,
and you set it in an apothecary full of weapons and have everybody use guns. It's fucking boring.
I feel like she hangs herself in that movie. Is that what happens in that movie?
I cannot remember.
It's fine.
I've repressed it.
That might be a good rewatch. It is a really good movie, but like I do want more from Jennifer Jason Leigh in that movie.
Yeah. Folks, are you noticing a consistency across 350 episodes? We always want
the
more
woman
of the women.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
You know why? Because men are fucking boring a lot of the time, if we're being honest.
That's just the thing. Is like, and maybe that's the gayness in both of us, where it's like any Tarantino film, which is, because is your favorite Tarantino Kill Bill?
Yes, and I know that that's kind of a bit of a cop-out answer.
No. It's mine, too. Kill Bill is, and I treat them as one movie.
It's the whole damn story.
I don't treat them as 2 different movies, but yeah, Kill Bill is my absolute favorite. And I think it's because, we have a female protagonist, and we haven't seen that in any other Tarantino film.
Well, it's that, and also I think there's other female characters that are super fucking interesting and also get a lot to do in both those films.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah. Who knows, Trace? Maybe we'll absolutely, definitely talk about Kill Bill movies in the future.
I would, honestly, not gonna lie. Not horror. I don't give a shit.
It's on the schedule.
It's our podcast.
I've already programmed it.
Good. Love it. Is it both of them?
We're doing them like in the dates of release, I think, or something.
Love it.
We'll talk about it later.
Love it. Okay.
Okay, so we do have this large guy who's advancing on Seth and Jacob, and forgive me, I don't think this character has a name. He's built like a brick fucking shithouse.
He's the one that like kind of take issue with George Clooney when they first walk into the bar, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
correct.
I don't think he has a name either. At least not in the film. Not given in the film.
No, but, you, again, think that he's going to be really formidable, but Frost just rips his heart out, and then we've got Sex Machine impaling it with a pencil, which I thought was a nice little touch.
Oh, yeah. I mean, all the methods of vampire killing in this movie, which are done kind of on a whim, really fun.
Yeah, we figure it out as we go, but everybody gets a little creative with it.
Yeah.
So the 4 adult human males, Seth, Jacob, as well as Frost and Sex Machine, they kind of like take care of the stragglers. So we've just got a bunch of burning vampire bodies, and then the kids join them because the kids had hidden behind the bar. And this is when the band disappears. Seth apologizes to Richie because, of course, he's bleeding out. And, of course, Seth can't do anything about it. He's not in control, Trace. The others try to open this heavy door to the club, but before they can really do that, that's when Richie turns. And I think this is my least favorite makeup effect in the film.
Yeah.
We basically just give Quentin Tarantino about a 5-finger forehead, and he looks uncanny, but it also isn't consistent between the shots.
He looks like, you're probably not gonna remember this off the top of your head, but he looks like the way the bad guy in The Mask looks whenever
yes, he does.
Whenever he finally puts on the mask, and he's given, again, a green 5 forehead in that movie.
Yeah. Oh, it's funny that you went there and I went to Dick Tracy.
Yeah, there you go.
But yeah, he just looks a little mutant-y, and it's kind of fun, but it's also a little underwhelming compared to what most everyone else gets.
Yeah, it's fine. But it's all punctuated by all these vampires being dead.
Yes.
And I think it's Kate that says, aren't they supposed to burn up or something? And then
they all go up.
They all go. All these corpses just light up in flames. This was a great comedic beat.
Yeah. And there's tons of moments like that because the movie treats the reveal of vampires as a what the fuck moment numerous times. And it feels again like these characters are actually speaking the language of the audience who maybe didn't know this was a secret vampire film.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, so we have to kill Richie. It's very sad. We're supposed to care. Nobody does.
Yeah, who cares?
It's fine. So Seth immediately begins drinking. Jacob argues that he needs to stay sober because, the violence is not done because part of the reason we couldn't open the doors is because we realized it's not actually safe. There's about 1 billion vampire bats outside.
I actually love this because I think the one thing the modern vampire film is missing is the transformation into a bat.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And in this scene, we have this sound, the fluttering of the wings. And it's like, what is that? And it's like, that's all the vampires outside as bats. Because, I mean, when you think of a modern vampire film, do you think of, a vampire can turn into a bat and get around wherever they want? No, you don't.
No,
That's a very old school thing. And I love that this film keeps that mythology.
Yeah, it feels properly old school, like we understand the lore behind vampires and where this creature has moved through the genre in terms of a historical sense. So yeah, we have never doubted that Quentin Tarantino and Robert Rodriguez know their film history. So this does feel like a nod to the old school vampire films.
100%.
Yeah. We do have to get a moment where Kate is threatened by a legless vampire. And I don't think that this is particularly interesting from a narrative point of view because it definitely just says, this 17-year-old girl can't look after herself. But I like the way that Robert Rodriguez shoots it.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's to the point where I felt the exact same way you did, but it's the POV shot, right? Of like the camera on the ground crawling towards her. It does good work, but this also serves to kind of link her to Sex Machine because we get this is where we learn Sex Machine's name, which is just
Sex
funny
Machine.
as fuck. Yeah. Sex Machine. But again, but this is, it's a brief character beat that we don't get for a lot of the back half of this movie.
No, you're right. And it's a genuine moment between characters who didn't previously know each other very well. Because, we've only really just met Sex Machine as well as Frost. So we're not going to do a ton with them, but we need to have them make an impression apart from the fact that they're played by famous people. So... Yeah, I like this moment, this unspoken, like, she gives the kind of A-OK.
Oh my God.
He saves her, and then
Wait, she's trying to stab this vampire, like, 3 times, and she just, like, it's not that she can't do it. I'm sorry. She can do it. She's wanting to do it, but she can't actually, like, pierce the skin, and she's like, oh, fuck. Oh, it's not really working for me. And then finally, he, like, jumps at her, and then she stabs him, and it's like, yep, I'm good.
Yep.
I'm good.
I can do it when I actually need to. I can absolutely do it. Yeah, so she gives the A-OK sign, and you think, that's a cute moment. And unfortunately, this was a distraction because Sex Machine wasn't paying attention. He was looking at her. So he gets bitten, but he hides it. Because, of course, that's what we've always got to do in one of these movies.
Which, be it a vampire movie or a zombie film, this is the most obnoxious, tropey narrative plot point of any of these films.
I agree, but I don't think this overstays its welcome because it doesn't take him long to turn, and it's not a big kind of drawn-out thing.
Well, and even the moments where he starts turning, it's all played for laughs, and it's really funny. Where his arm changes. He's like, let me hide my arm. I have my teeth.
Other arm.
Let me feel my teeth. Yeah, I agree. It takes like 5 minutes for this to come to a head, and that's great. As opposed to like, the Dawn of the Dead remake, where it's like, we're waiting like 20 minutes for this to happen.
Oh, now you remember the Dawn of the Dead remake, but you don't remember Tom Savini in the Dawn of the Dead.
I don't remember Tom Savini. Honestly, I don't remember it. I have to watch it soon again, though, because I am playing it for Terror Tuesday.
There you go. Okay. That's a movie that plays well with a crowd, too.
It probably does, yeah.
Okay, so we have Scott suggesting that they make crosses from all of the scraps. We were just talking about how there's a certain reverence for vampire films of old. So him saying Peter Cushing does it all the time. I appreciated that line.
Oh, see, my biggest laugh from this was they're all debating, should we have silver? Silver's for werewolves. No, it's not. And Julia Lewis is like, does anyone have any silver?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, then who cares?
Yeah. No one cares. Great line. Also, we had to have the whole debate even like, oh, is it for vampires or for werewolves? Blah, blah, blah.
I love it.
Nobody cares.
Almost predating like Underworld with the vampire versus werewolf mythology here.
A little bit. I mean, we had done a couple of titles before, but yeah, it had been a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so Seth suggests that all they really need is Jacob's faith, because, of course, this is a traditional narrative arc we would do. Somebody has lost their faith, restore it, and the power of God will help us. And this prompts the mean motherfucking servant of God to punch him.
Yeah, that's fine.
Jacob is not having it.
It feels like because, oh God, fuck, we didn't mention it. There's this line earlier where I think it's when Seth and Richie are entering their motel room, and he's like, oh, what's going on? And he punches him, and he goes, it's a punch. That joke, question mark, lands with a wet thud.
Yeah. And this is one of those things, right, where you can see George Clooney trying to figure out, what can I sell? Because he is a very charismatic person, but there's definitely moments where he's supposed to be hard-edged and intimidating and like an action figure. And I think it's a mixed bag. Sometimes he's fine, and other times, as you said, it's a wet thud. All right, so we've got a quick couple of character beats here where, of course, now that we've established there are demons from hell, we can talk about how there must be a heaven. So that should certainly convince Jacob to get back on the God train. It's fine. I think this is the film attempting to pay off something it began when they were having their conversation in the RV, but it's a little bit like, yeah, okay, sure, whatever.
I do find the character archetype of like a faithless preacher very fascinating, and I don't think this is the film to really interrogate that. Like,
no,
because again, by this point, it's like, but I don't know if by the end of this film, if Jacob's faith has been renewed or not. I don't need a moment where it's like, oh, I believe in God again. And even at the beginning, he doesn't say, I don't believe in God. It's more so like
he can't be the one to lead people. And maybe this is more of a passing of the baton to someone like Seth. I don't know.
Maybe, but I guess it's the thing where I find the idea of losing faith very interesting. And
right.
Not that this is a movie to really like give me what I want from that kind of a story, but I would have liked maybe more from that, or maybe more of an obvious turn for him.
Right.
But also, I guess maybe in retrospect, I'm kind of like, oh, but maybe that it doesn't is a bit subversive. So
now I think you're giving the film too much credit. But
well,
okay.
No, I mean, maybe I'm being too forgiving, but also, okay, let me reframe it this way. I like that it doesn't say, oh, I believe in God. God is the way. There we go. That's the good side of the movie. I like that it's, oh, religion saves the day. Even though, yes, crosses kill vampires and whatever. Yeah. Like, he definitely blesses the water that Scott puts into the super soaker and the condom balloons and that kind of stuff. Yeah.
So I think we're meant to interpret his rah-rah sort of come to Jesus moment speech in the back room after we think, okay, well, he's been bitten by Sex Machine. We've left him for dead. We all move back. And then the fact that he comes back and says, no, we all need to do this together. I think that's meant to be him rediscovering his capacity to lead people and to, kind of emulate a Christ-like figure.
No, I agree that you're correct, but he doesn't really bring Jesus into the equation there. Like, it's more so like I'm about to die, I love my children,
right? And
let's do this. But it's not, oh, God has shown me the way type thing.
Right, yes.
And I appreciate that as someone who, I mean, I think I've been upfront about this, is not fully religious.
Right. You have walked a challenging path with your faith.
Do you consider yourself like a religious person or a God person?
No, we talked about this a billion times.
I'm just bringing it up for anyone who's just joining the podcast. But see, I do. Like, I think every day, every choice that I make, there's like a back brain in my mind that's kind of like, well, but would God approve of this? And even though I don't consider myself a religious person, I don't consider myself particularly Christian, but I do consider myself but even saying I'm spiritual feels like a cop-out, right?
No, I don't think so, because I think spirituality and faith are different things.
I guess it's more so I believe in a higher power that will judge us, but I don't subscribe to a particular set of rules among religion.
Okay. Yeah. No, I think spirituality is probably accurate then.
Yeah. So, I mean, every time I watch something that deals with faith like that, I always think about that. And I find the unknowable factors of like, oh, what's right or wrong, as if that's even a thing that matters.
Right.
I find all that very interesting.
I agree. I think I agree more with your earlier or the first part of your statement where maybe this isn't the film to do it because it feels like the film is trying to bite off a little more than it can chew. Like if there were either fewer characters or we could just unpack it in greater detail. Here it feels like a pretty simple character arc that is going to mostly satisfy because we all know the beats.
Agreed. 100%.
Yeah, which is not to say that Harvey Keitel doesn't sell the shit out of it.
He does. Oh, yeah.
But, like, you know, I think he's maybe a bit more compelling and even convincing when he's talking to Kate and Scott and saying, if something happens to me, you have to kill me, which is also a very familiar beat for movies like this. And yet I think the relationship between the family members helps to sell it as opposed to, hey, everybody, let's go out there and kill these demonic beings from hell.
Spot on. I don't tear up when I'm watching this movie, but do I feel something whenever Jacob, who knows he is like dead, essentially dead already, like talking to his children saying like, you need to kill me, and if you don't, I'm going to kill myself, right? Even the conversation, like, you don't believe in suicide. Well, it's not suicide, I'm already dead. Like, all of that I found very fast. Even though this movie isn't operating on a deeper level with those kind of questions, I found them very compelling.
Right, yeah. I find them mostly compelling, but I actually think that Keitel is doing a lot of heavy lifting with a okay script portion from Tarantino here.
I think that's... I mean, it's not a particularly deep script. I mean, we've established this over the course of this episode. Like, it's not... But I agree, yeah. Keitel elevates this material.
Yes, yeah. Okay, so we have jumped over a couple of plot beats before they lock themselves in the back room. We do have to bite Frost, so Sex Machine ends up biting him on the neck.
Didn't you love, though, the shot of just the fingers kind of creeping up over his shoulders?
Oh, yeah.
It's really fun.
It's interesting because I said earlier that I don't love all of the makeup effects, like specifically the Richie transformation. But when we get into Frost and Sex Machine, it really starts to feel more like Fright Night makeup.
Yes! Oh my God!
And I think that's why I like it so much, because I'm just like, ugh.
Yes! Thank you. I couldn't put a name to it, but that is exactly what it is.
It's the big teeth, right? Like the double set of kind of sharky looking teeth.
But even the theatricality, the nails, I think, are a big thing too. But the theatricality of all of it.
Oh, and if you want to talk about theatricality, like nothing is going to beat these earlier moments that we talked about, like Selma Hayek's fantastic introduction.
Yeah.
But I will say that moment where Frost turns to reveal that he has been vampirized as the bats break through the door.
Ooh.
It is such a good moment.
Well, it's also because that's the oh fuck, what do we do moment of this movie, where it's like, you've killed all the vampires, sure, but then you have like hundreds of bats inside, which each one of those is supposedly another vampire.
Yeah, I think narratively it doesn't fully work because these characters shouldn't know that the bats are that dangerous. Like, I guess they could just be running from a large number of bats who seem to be going after them. But I mean, yeah, I'd like this as a soft reset. Like this climax, if we want to say the last 40 minutes or the back half of the film even, it has two rising action and then climactic moments, right? So the first is that initial outbreak where, you know, all of the dancers and everybody is just getting attacked, and then we deal with them. And it seems like the threat has been mostly neutralized.
Right.
And then we do this soft reset where all of a sudden we just have to worry about a couple of stragglers, but oops, now the bats have gotten in and we're outnumbered, overwhelmed all over again. So the rising tension, you know, it's the roller coaster. We're going back up the hill. The odds seem real bad for us.
Just a little bit, though.
Just a little bit, yeah. Okay, so it's basically down to the four people in the back room. So we have Scott, we have Kate, we have Seth, and then we have Jacob, but Jacob is on his way out, as we have talked about. So he does insist, however, that we're going to gather everything up that we can. So this back room is filled with biker materials. Like we have stolen and pilfered in all of our rural horror I was almost like, Roger. A little bit of Roger, yeah. We basically stolen supplies from all of these truckers and bikers over the years, so we have amassed an arsenal of different kinds of useless goods, but we can transform them into weapons. So we've got our preparing for battle montage.
And boy, oh boy, do they have an arsenal prepared for them.
Yeah, so we have bottles of booze, we have holy water, super soaker, and condoms.
A lot of condoms.
It's a lot of which kind of makes sense given, the nature of who we're talking about.
I mean, Santanico Pandemonium gave me all those condom blowjobs.
Right. Okay. Let's move on past that.
I'm sorry. The idea of a condom blowjob, which I get is a safe sex
It's
method.
a safe sex technique, but yeah, I can't say I've ever heard of anyone actually giving
Have you ever given a condom blowjob?
I have not.
I have not either, honestly. I have not. And sorry, y'all. Oops, sorry, Jesus.
This is not saved! ! Continuing our list of weapons, we have George Clooney's super phallic piston stake thing, which I'm like, okay, put it between your legs and let's have a good time, I guess.
He did.
We have a crossbow because, girls get crossbows.
Well, I'm gonna say though, it's an effective weapon, but
sure, I'm
just thinking about the reloading time on
it takes
that thing.
way too long, and you only have a certain number of arrows. Like, no, it's a no.
She picks up. She's like, "Oh yeah." I'm like, "Girl, no, pick something better."
It's called a machete or something,
Yeah, Danny Trejo's right there.
The final element, of course, is our bullets with crosses etched into them. Trace, question, what do you think of this new sort of redux version of vampires? So we talked about the initial sort of recently human converted. These old-ass motherfuckers with their wrinkly bodies and their long hair. It's a bit more of a traditional look, but do you like one more than the other?
Not necessarily. I think it kind of goes back to the Selma Hayek of the situation where I'm like, oh, once she becomes like the snake thing, that's not Selma Hayek in that makeup. That's just another like stunt actor like doing that role. And
yeah.
I think if more of these vampires were characterized pre-transition, I would care more. But
this is just a numbers game, right? It's like, oh my, look at how overwhelmed they are.
I mean, when Jacob, again, he's behind the bar, he makes a cross out of this gun. And a baseball bat. I think it's a baseball bat.
Yes.
But he stands up, and that reveal of what's on the other side of the bar.
That's pretty good.
I think it's great. Yeah, I think it's great.
Yeah, and really, it's less about them. As I said, it's more of a numbers game. And then really just how are these final four going to defend themselves and get through this horde of vampires? Yeah. So I guess it kind of doesn't matter whether we like them because they're not characters. They're really just bodies to be disposed of in entertaining ways.
Yeah, pretty much.
So we still have to battle two characters amidst all of these. So we have Seth going up against Sex Machine. And he does use the whip, and the biker's hypothesis about how easily a vampire head comes off is proven true. But unfortunately, this is where we get the rodent vampire.
But
it looks good.
This is the epitome of why is this here? I don't care. It looks good.
Exactly. Yeah. It reminded me a little bit of the Princess Bride, like the giant rats of whatever.
Oh, yes. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's also like a bit of like a Clive Barker-ness in this.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't really have a specific like pinpoint reference for this, but it's just bizarre, right? Like
it's giving Nightbreed adjacent.
A little bit. Like he sheds Tom Savini's skin and becomes this big rat monster. And I don't know why it's there, but it looks cool.
Yeah, it looks cool, and we're all here for it. And also, it doesn't overstay its welcome, right?
We kill it immediately.
Kate puts a couple of crossbow arrows into this, and then we punt it into a fire. And it's cool. Amazing.
But during all this, Jacob turns. And
yeah,
again, it was clear that Scott was not going to be the one that was going to be able to shoot him. But the reason I like and respect this movie so much is that it has the balls to do this to this kid. And I think there's another read where you're like, well, it's the Asian character in an all-white movie. White and Mexican movie. Yeah. Why are you torturing this kid this way? Why don't you do this to Juliette Lewis? But at the same time, I'm just kind of like, but this is ballsy, man. Like, you would not expect this child to die. And to have Kate be the one to kill him.
I kind of expect that Kate will have to kill him, if only because we've already made such a big deal out of if Jacob turns, the kids have to agree to, but they never agreed if something happens to them, they would do it for each other, or they kind of do, but not in such an explicit way. But yeah, I mean, I never thought that Scott or Kate were going to die. And so it does feel ballsy when you realize, oh, he's not going to come back from this.
Yeah.
So that, to me, is the surprise. And then Kate having to deal with it makes sense because it's very similar to what we saw with Seth and Richie, right? Like the siblings ultimately have to put the other one down.
I did appreciate it, though. So before he dies, he says, "Kill me, Kate." And I wrote in my notes, is this like a referencing the Broadway musical, the very famous Broadway musical?
Kiss Me, Kate?
Kiss Me, Kate. I was like, oh, yeah, that's kind of... But then I'm like, but has Robert Rodriguez seen Kiss Me, Kate? Maybe he has. I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah.
But I thought Kill Me, Kate was really... I thought it was funny.
Okay. Yeah. It is interesting, as you said, unexpected that we do this to this character. We should note it's pretty late in the film. Like, we're nearly at the end.
Yeah, we're almost done.
But it does so happen that we kill both of our remaining marginalized figures with like a back-to-back. So we jumped over the part where Frost is dispatched by Jacob. So he shoves the gun through him and then blows a bunch of vampires away through the hole, which is highly entertaining. And then we think Frost is going to do something terrible to Jacob, and he just then turns into a puddle of goo.
Well, as you do as a vampire.
Sure. Yeah, it's happened a couple of times at this point. But yeah, is it not so great that both white characters ultimately end up surviving?
Well,
it's fine. But also we did keep both our black and our Asian character alive until very near the end. So I don't know. This feels very mid-90s.
I mean, I am very reticent to ever say that anything is racist in a film because I'm just kind of like, oh, it's a person, it's a horror movie, people die. I think in this genre that we are playing in, Joe, it's always hard for me to commit to this is intentionally racist, you know?
Yeah, I mean, my biggest issue is actually just that Scott is the least memorable character out of basically anybody who survives into the back half of the film. Like, that's my big criticism. And I don't think it's a racism issue. I think it's more just, we didn't ultimately give this character anything interesting to do. So I just kind of wonder, well, why do we even need a second kid? Feels like we could have just had Kate as a character.
Yeah, as it seems like, we have this kid just so we can kill him.
A little bit, yeah. And to draw the conclusion where, Kate and Seth are kind of one and the same. They both lost everyone in their family and they both had to kill their sibling.
Yeah. I mean, I do find it impactful either way. Like, even though
think so.
I agree. I don't think Scott is much of a character before he dies. But it is his relationship with his family that does make this death sting a little bit. To where, again, I did not expect this to happen.
No. So, in that way, it is unexpected and a little subversive.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so we are basically down to 2. So we have Seth and Kate, and the odds are not in their favor because they are completely surrounded. We're back to back in the middle of the room, just trying to survive. But we do notice that when we sometimes shoot the wall, there's a shaft of light that starts to come through.
This is Fright Night, right?
This is Fright Night, yeah. 100%. Yeah, so we're burning these vampires, but it also seems like they might get to us before the sun can fully come up, but also there's like no other way to get more light into this room. Enter Carlos, who is Cheech Marin in his third and final role.
In my notes, in all caps, oh my god, it's Cheech Marin again.
Again, yes. It's just kind of wild. It's like, was he hanging around the set and Robert Rodriguez thought it would be funny to just keep bringing him back? Or was he always intended to have
Joe,
this many roles?
Do you have any relationship with Cheech and Chong?
I only know that they exist. Yeah. Like, it was pot comedy, and I think my parents made reference to it, but I've never seen any of the films.
That's exactly the boat I'm in. There is a documentary that's out right now, or it just came out, where it's like the Cheech and Chong's last movie, where it's like it's their lives and whatever. But
okay,
I only knew them as those stoner Mexicans that my parents didn't like, which really in my mind sounds way worse when I'm saying it out loud.
I'm gonna say, when you say it out loud, it doesn't sound great, but I think most people read between the lines. It's more, okay, this is how white people would feel about
them. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But either way, watching Cheech Marin in more and more things, I'm kind of like, I kind of want to watch those Cheech and Chong things, but We'll see.
Yeah, I feel like it's going to be precursors to Harold and Kumar, which maybe isn't a bad thing, but also it's not my preferred brand of comedy. But I think they're probably quite amusing if you do actually smoke up and just kind of join them for the ride.
Yeah. Which, by the way, though, have you not seen Harold and Kumar? Have you seen Harold and Kumar?
I've seen the first one, and I think it's fine. I like that it exists, but I don't think it's super funny. Like, I think it's okay, fine.
Oh, we should watch some more of this, because that shit is, the diarrhea scene is like an all-timer.
Oh my god, okay. Well, I do love a poop joke. Truly, I do. Yeah.
I know, I do too. Yeah. Anyway, all right, sorry.
Anyway, okay. So yes, Carlos, this is the character that Cheech Marin is playing. He breaks down the door, and of course, I don't know why we have a disco ball in the Titty Twister, but thank God we do, because it catches the light, and it just fries up all of these motherfuckers.
Yeah. And what joke? Psychos do not explode when sunlight hits them. I don't give a fuck how crazy they are.
Again, I applaud George Clooney for trying to deliver that line, but it does not work for me.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. Anyway, we get another huge fireball because, of course, everything in this movie is either cyclical or mirroring other aspects of the plot because, as we said, it's 2 films in one, so part 1 has to reflect part 2 and so on. So yes, we blow this up just like we did the liquor store. And yeah, Seth is very pissed off at Carlos. Why did you suggest this place? And I do love that Carlos just kind of says, well, because it was rowdy, so there wouldn't be any cops coming by, and it was open all night. What the fuck do you want from me?
I think that's subversive, though, because I think you would think that this guy would say, like, he would be in on it, Like,
right. I was trying to get you killed. I wanted to be able to just grab the money and go.
And it's not that. It's just that he's like, oh, I thought it was just a strip club. And that is simultaneously unsatisfying and satisfying at the same time.
Yeah. Like, it's not the great comedic punchline that you want, but it's also not the, oh God, it's just another plot contrivance.
Yeah, 100%.
I will say, Seth trying to barter for a better percentage.
Okay.
It feels very in keeping with the character, but also I don't need this moment. I don't fucking care.
No, I would need this moment if he got more than a 5% discount. So it's playing off this whole joke where Richie was like, why are you giving them 30%? That's really fucked up. And he's like, well, that's the mafia. That's what you do, blah, 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 or whatever the fuck this Mexican mafia is. And he gets them to 25%, which is a reasonable deal. And I'm like, wait, you went through all this shit just for a 5% discount? All right, that's fine.
Yeah, sure, whatever.
It is what it is, whatever.
So, nearly there, Seth apologizes to a very bloody Kate, and he gives her some money. He refuses her offer to accompany him to El Rey, which, again, is it subversive or is it unsatisfying? Because in some ways you think, no, the two of them should just go off and maybe have a new life, not sexually, but just say, we've been through something and we have no one else. So yeah, let's just spend a bit more time together.
What do you make of the line, though? When he tells her no, he says, go home, Kate. I may be a bastard, but I'm not a fucking bastard. That's literally his, no, I'm not doing this with you.
Yeah. Like, are we meant to infer some kind of weird sexualized angle to that? Or is it just, no, I'm not going to corrupt you any more than I already have? Like, I will take responsibility for getting you up to this point and fucking up your entire life and killing your entire family, but I'm not going to turn you into a career criminal.
And I think again, like, not to toot my own horn again or like blast the same fucking horn, but like that's where the TV show has fun with it, because it does play with that dynamic of, well, what does this mean when this guy, George Clooney, or the Seth character, takes Kate under his wing?
Right, yeah. I guess that's the benefit or the virtue of having more time.
Well, I guess, though, for me, though, I'm just like, okay, movie, you have gone out of your way to not be polite.
Okay.
Sure, whatever. Why are you doing it now? Why does Seth have morals now?
Because he's changed, Trace. He's a changed man after the events of this film. Who would have thought? It just took vampires to get him to finally become a better person.
But Joe, when you're watching Juliette Lewis get in the fucking RV and drive away, he's like, go home, Kate. It's like, what is home to her?
Yeah, no, it doesn't make any sense. Like, the RV is her home now.
Yeah, like her mother's definitely dead. We learned that a long time ago. Her father's dead, her brother's dead, so she's just supposed to go in the workforce, I guess? Yeah, sure.
I
Why
guess. Yeah. I mean, go to community college. I don't know. Something.
So I've always and will still find this ending very unsatisfying. I just don't like it. I think that's why I latch onto the TV show as much as I do.
Sure. Yeah. This definitely feels like the film playing it safe, as you said, maybe being a little polite, or just copping out on what it naturally seemed to be doing, which was facilitating not a sexual relationship, but pairing these people up, like whittling them down so that they had no one else, and saying, well, maybe the two of you now belong together because it's you versus the world.
Well, either way, we get this great shot of this titty twister, the titty twister.
The one and only Titty Twister. I'm assuming this is a matte painting because
it looks
we
like
definitely have the texture of one. But yeah, are we meant to read sequel tease for this? Or is it just, hey, there could be a backstory, make of this what you will?
No, I think it's, well, fuck. So nowadays, I would say, oh, it's a backstory, make of it what you will.
Sure. Yeah.
Back then, I'm like, no, this is clearly a sequel tease.
Okay. Yeah. So, folks, if you haven't seen it or you don't recall, basically the entire back half of the Titty Twister is a kind of primitive pyramid, vaguely kind of indigenous, like, oh, it's been here for centuries, backing onto a cliff filled with cars and other things. So it is very rural horror.
Yeah.
But the suggestion is that this place has been here forever.
Yeah. I love the implication of that, to where I'm like, cool, I would watch more of these movies.
Oh, sure. I mean, I guess that's why there is a straight-to-video sequel.
I'm not saying I'm going to watch the second or third movie of this franchise, but everyone, if you have seen these second or third films in this franchise, let us know, do you think they are worth watching? Because I'm genuinely curious, because this is not a movie or a franchise that I'm particularly, like, emotionally tied to.
Sure.
But at the same time...
Even though we've run very long at this point.
I was going to say... I was going to be an 80-minute episode, but no, it's not, clearly. I don't know. I mean, I'm just curious. Is there more here that is worth seeking out?
Yeah. Like, do they get into the mythology and the lore, or are they kind of cash grab straight-to-video sequels?
Probably that. But
probably that. I mean, it could be both.
It's okay.
I don't know.
Either way, flaws and all, I like this movie a lot. It is not perfect. It is not PC. It is not unproblematic.
Sure.
But it's fun.
It's fun. It's a good time if your tolerance for Robert Rodriguez and Quentin Tarantino's usual shenanigans is reasonably high. Like, I actually think this is a pretty representative text for both of them, for better and for worse. But if you like their kinds of movies, this is probably going to fit in as a bit of a comfort watch. Like, it's doing the thing. It's got some great moments of action, a bunch of people you're familiar with, some pretty good jokes, and if you're like imbibing on something on a Sunday afternoon,
as we are right now.
Yeah, kind of something like that. What can we say? The episode's a little sloppier than usual. Hopefully you liked it.
It's okay. The edit might clean it up. It might not. I don't know.
We shall see. I will work my magic like the band disappearing.
Yeah, yes. You will. Okay, everyone. Well,
Did you just clap?
I did, but I didn't clap. I didn't clap. I'm drunk. Actually, really, really. Drunk.
Yeah, I could tell. There were a couple of moments.
I slapped my dad.
Jesus Christ.
I'm
okay.
so drunk.
Bitch. Take us home.
Joe, I drank the entire bottle of wine.
Of course you did. You have no self-control. I'm keeping all of this in.
No, please keep it in. Okay. Before we announce what we're covering next week, just a quick housekeeping. If you want to get in touch with us, you can reach us on Blue Sky and Instagram at HorrorQueers, or shoot us an email at horrorqueers@gmail.com. Find us on Letterboxd to keep track of all the films we've covered. If you want to chat with other listeners, please join our Horror Queers Discord. The link is in the show notes, and we have been getting really good at learning Discord.
Yeah, for the most part, with help.
So. Yeah. If you have a moment, please rate and review us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. And if you want even more content, please support the show by becoming a patron at patreon.com/horrorqueers. If you subscribe today, you will get 414 and a half hours of Patreon content, including this month's new episodes on the old school film Cry Wolf, old school film? Yeah, I think that's appropriate.
It's we're old.
I haven't revisited it since theater, so we'll see.
Oh boy.
Stephen King's adaptation, The Long Walk, the football movie Him, The Conjuring, The Last Rites, supposedly, maybe, the last Conjuring film.
Oh, please.
We can pray. And to tie in with that release, a brand new audio commentary on The Conjuring 2. But, hey, don't stop there, because we have begun dropping new content again on our requel tier. So if you subscribe today, you will get individual episode-by-episode recaps of both Noah Hawley's new Alien Earth TV show, as well as the entire second season of The Last of Us. And I gotta say, we go long in a lot of these episodes.
We do. There's lots to talk about.
So much to talk about. But Joe, oh my God, I feel like there will be a lot to talk about next week. What are we talking about?
Okay, yeah. So 351, we're going to travel over to Japan, and we're going to do something we haven't done in quite some time, Trace. We're going to revisit the world of anime. So we're going to talk about the queer-coded relationship at the heart of Akira.
This is Tetsuo and Kaneda, I feel like, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is a movie that I had to watch in my Asian horror film class in college, and I've only seen it that one time, and I was not aware at the time, 10, 15 years ago, how big it was.
Oh, God. This is a monster.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, there is a monster in the film as well.
It has been tried to be American adapted so many times. Even with Zac Efron at one point, I feel like. And
I cannot with any of that. I'm just like, it is a film that is perfect in its current iteration, and it does not ever need to be touched. Do not touch Akira.
We are going to touch it next week.
Oh my God.
So
all right. You are wasted, so we are done.
I'm really drunk. So until next week, everybody, we can cross out from Dusk Till Dawn.
Cross out from Dusk Till Dawn. Yes, and cross out horror queers.
The Toxic Avenger is out now. Experience the long-awaited, totally unrated Monster Mayhem exclusively in theaters. Get tickets now at tickets.toxicavenger.com.